they should be finishing up soon since they were doing a double feature. Hello, 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 everybody. This is Lord Captain Commander Dunn, along with Agent Yokai Zero, Blue, and Drake the Duelist. We're going to be covering the now infamous Austin Film Fest. We're first going to watch the audio, and then we shall look at the live tweet thread and a few of the articles to see, are David Bennioff and DB Weiss being taken out of context in terms of the statements they made there? My initial thesis going in is no, their statements are crazy with or without context. So we'll go with that. And it will be up to my guest to determine whether or not, yes, he has or has not been taken out of context. Sound good?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty.
Let's do this.
Maybe what you didn't know, not so much in that first episode, but what you didn't know was an advantage to you.
How to talk to people who do things that you don't understand very well or at all is not something you
And everybody can hear it okay?
It's pretty quiet.
Not for
Yeah, it
video
is. It's
quality,
actually-
but it's hard to hear him in the video.
Okay.
It's very hard to find yourself in a position where it is in a way it's just very, very fortunate to have kind of in school.
Okay.
I'm going to take a question in that.
White man.
I think we'll skip forward a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, because they're just kind of mumbling right now. Hopefully they speak up a little bit later. There we go. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. This is pretty bad.
The Austin debacle.
Yeah.
I wish there was some kind of I think they had sold a bunch of
Is the Dragon demands?
Yep.
Well, even if it's terrible, their faith in us coupled with tremendous foreign pre-sales, they've taken.
So you've never had this, but maybe what you didn't know, not so much in that first episode, but what you didn't know was an advantage to you. I mean, you had done film, and 20th hour use.
Yes, absolutely. But I hadn't, none of us had produced anything before. And so yes, there were plenty of writing mistakes that we made, but also just the casting mistakes we made, hiring mistakes we made, everything you could make a mistake in, you made a mistake. And I think we got very lucky. Honestly, as Dan said, it was 50-50 at best that they, that we did probably because of these sales. And we got a chance to learn from this wildly expensive mistake that we made and correct it and go back and write people pre-roll, fix the script, make sure all these other things that we done wrong. Costumes, it's the same brilliant customer, but we had neglected to take these costumes.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff in that. So, thoughts?
So far, they're just talking about the pilot, yeah? And that they went
Yep.
back and... Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, they reshot the entire pilot because it was a failure, and they already dropped $10 million into it, but also they've gotten some good foreign pre-sales in, so they decided, okay, well, might as well let these guys have it, and turned out to be somewhat successful. But the problem was they didn't really know how money works.
I'd like to actually read a little more before I give my context.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't really said anything like terribly bad that we haven't said. We're just like, oh, they just didn't know how production worked.
Yeah.
At all. So, yeah, that's already kind of been covered, but we're getting to the dumb stuff.
one of the things that many things or for the costume design, or for the costume team, costume department, and so just how to talk to people who do things that you don't understand very well or at all is not something you're born knowing. It's something that you learn how to do by doing it. And unfortunately, it's very hard to find yourself in a position that someone needs to give you permission. They need to pay for the costume department for you to learn with. So it's in a way just like a very fortunate to have kind of those in school.
Oh goodness. It's kind of crazy to me that they got this kind of show without ever having done this before.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
it
mean,
just-
because like you said, how to talk to a costume crew about costuming, like that's not even like, okay, yeah, you would have learned that in film school, but also just, I mean, hell, having even ever played around and done something with your friends, you'd have an idea of that, you know?
I mean, my input on this is that I don't want to give him too much shit for being transparent. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. He's been using language like this very consistently, talking about how modest and humble he was, how humbling of a position it was for him. He's very consistently using language that's indicative of that, and it's not. It shows. Also, looks like Neph is here, so
Oh.
she can kind of go off at this guy now.
Okay. 1 second.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late. What did I miss?
We just started, I think.
Nope.
Nothing new.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
basically, like, we didn't understand how production worked.
Yeah, just David Bennioff talking about
Oh.
black people and all that.
Lord.
It's like the main thing that gets me so far is they blew $10 million on production errors that were easily preventable, and that was, it's not a big deal, but it's reading how-to books that makes them feel stupid.
Oh, good God. Yeah, they are. You know, it's okay to feel stupid about something, but, you know, those books are there so that they can teach you what not to do.
Yeah, it's like
And
you're out a
they don't
$50 textbook
understand that.
versus $10 million. There's a order of magnitude or two there.
Yeah.
Or when they dropped $10,000 on a staircase that only showed up for 2 seconds.
There was no need to build that. Maybe. Oh. Yeah, there was no need to do that at all.
Yeah, a character doesn't even walk on it. They just walk toward it.
Now, if someone was climbing those stairs, that would be one thing. But they don't even set foot on it by what you're saying. So there was no point in having something that expensive.
Like, wasting so much money. Yeah, you could have just easily used CGI. It would have been cheaper and would have looked just as fine.
Much, much cheaper.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have taken 5 months worth of work.
Yeah. It would have taken maybe a couple of days to do it instead.
Yeah, just because these guys do not know how time management works. And it's such an annoying fact that, like, these people refuse to acknowledge is that they admit that they have terrible time management skills all the time.
And that's the thing, Dunn. It's their horrible time management skills. Because you see, I don't want to give them too much shit for, one, their transparency, but it's just been so consistent that I can't help but have some input on that. And two, it's that I don't want to give them shit for their lack of CG, because you always see that everywhere nowadays. People look for every excuse to use CG and take the easy route. And even though it supplies jobs, it can be disorienting when you're surrounded by that all the time. Sometimes it's nice to have practical effects, but when you're having issues with time management, perhaps you shouldn't be emphasizing practical effects, not when it's going to ruin the story because you don't have time.
Just like the 70 live horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not do that.
Yeah.
You can have maybe 5.
Yeah.
10 if you really want to have people on horses going at each other. But
and the issue is, it's not even like a whole set that's CGI. Like the set around it is like already created. I believe it was just that one little staircase, staircase that was going up that they had to like drop a bunch of money on. And they
added to the hypothetical Santa letter.
I guess so, yeah. Alrighty. Let's keep going. And like they said, like it's so like a lot of people say the world's most expensive film school is taken out of context. It's like, no, it makes total sense.
Well, he's consistently talking about how humbling of an experience this was for him, and I can certainly see why. I would feel pretty humbled too. Look what they produced with their resources.
But this guy is also a narcissist. So I don't see how it could be humbling. He might say that, but I don't think he actually feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thing. Like, I think to even, I don't know, he's talking about all this stuff that he didn't know how to do, that he had to learn on the job. And it's like, imagine the kind of arrogance you have to even throw your hat, like, into that, right?
Yeah, like he's throwing his hat in the ring, like, yeah, I can totally do this on my first try. It's almost like he's bragging, like, this, I wasn't even trying.
Right, like, of course you're going to say
it was that argument.
Yeah, of course you're going to say it was a humbling experience, but a humble guy doesn't do that. Like,
or he's saying, or he's like saying over and over, kind of like, it's kind of a con job that we got George R.R. Martin into doing this.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like he's signaling his modesty.
Or he's trying to.
And kind of like he's saying, and it might even be that he's bragging, oh, I got away with this.
Maybe.
Sounds like somebody's getting killed.
I was going to say, it sounds like there's like, we're in that Edgar Allan Poe poem, there's a heart under the floorboard somewhere.
Oh, that would be
Sounds like somebody's doing something over there.
It might have been me, actually. Because I just muted my mic and it's just... The TV is on really loud downstairs. If you want, I could go ask someone to turn it down, but...
No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
You're alright right now.
Okay.
We'll let you know if it gets bad again.
Alright.
It's alright right now.
Let's keep going, shall we?
There's we knew about the story, we knew about the character, we knew tone and how we wanted to feel that all the rest of it was something we had to. We had to learn how to translate what we felt into words that.
You had something to say?
It sounds like he's mumbling to me.
Yeah,
that's why this guy's pretty good, because he gives you quotations.
Yeah, and you can kind of...
Yeah, just read it. Just read it.
Yeah. Yeah. For the rest, we had to learn to translate what we felt into words that would make a cost production designer lead that in the direction that we would produce the result we were looking for.
Yeah, but this is Weiss here. What else is he going to say, you know?
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm Weiss. I'm going to say words. And there you go. It isn't really anything to poke fun at. It's just like, all right, well, what else is he going to say? It's when Bennioff speaks, that's when it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weiss is just kind of going with the flow right now.
Yeah, he's very much...
I don't know if that's going to change. I don't know if he's going to be like, by the way, let's kill kids and let's be cool with that. And it's like, okay, you can't really take that out of context. Unless you're making fun of somebody.
Just wait. There's a bit about that. There's actually something that's...
Boy.
Oh, no.
Just wait. We'll save that bombshell for the end.
When Dunn says it, you know it's true.
Yeah, Dunn never lies, even when his guests want him to be a liar.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Do you ever get tired of being right? Are you ever just done with being right?
No. No. And this is let's see. 5 people who know nothing about production, and we still could do it better than he did.
Yeah, because we would actually read how-to books and read about, and read about, I admittedly have probably not watched as many movies as David Bennioff has, but I would try to see. If I wanted to do a cavalry charge, I would look behind the scenes of stuff like, say, Lord of the Rings. I would not use this Kira Kurosawa for a modern. I would use it for camera work, but not the production, how he did it. I would look at that and say, nope, that's impossible nowadays. Maybe I can make it look like that a little bit with CGI, but not with a physical horse.
Right. Well, because that was the one where he went and he was like, oh yeah, I watched this, I studied it, right? But he didn't take away any of the practical things from it, like the fact that horses died on that set, or the fact that how many horses they had, or just any of it.
Or the fact that the law restricts how many horses they can have and what the horses are allowed to actually do.
Right. We have those
yeah.
pesky animal protection laws now that he just kind of didn't take into account.
Yeah.
He just said, you do it, you get this many days to do it, even after the director gave him his fairly well-researched estimate based on what he had been given, and said you have less than half of that.
Yeah, no, the people on board should have said, no, we need exactly how much time we told you we need. There's a reason we told you we need this much time. That's because we can't do it in less than this much time.
And
you want us to do this in 12 days? We need the 12 days just to train the horses.
Yeah.
Just imagine if this guy made a Dragon Ball Z movie. I'm not done. With only practical effects.
Oh, good God! There's no way you'd be able to do that. How would you do all the Kai blasts?
How would he do that? That's my question.
Yeah.
How would he do it?
Do that,
I don't know
really
how I would do it. Let
like
alone.
They do in theater. You just start throwing fabric at people and it represents things.
Oh my God, that would be so stupid.
He would probably kill somebody with a flamethrower by accident.
That's actually you know what? That actually might happen. That actually.
Oh, good Lord, yeah. Yeah, and Occupation Army's got a good point. Can't they just film a handful of horses over and over again?
Well, I could be wrong, but isn't that typically what they do? They just kind of if they want a bunch of horses, they just kind of overlay the same horses over and over and mash it all together.
They're no, it has to be obnoxious. It has to be obnoxious. Oh boy. I might have to get up and get a drink, but I don't want to because I'm comfortable. I'm under my blankets right now.
Laptop power, my friend.
Oh,
no, we lost Don. Oh, great. I came in just in time to save that for him. Oh, God. I would rather take a class to learn things like that, but at the same time, if you're not going to take a class, then you need those self-help materials. Because the self-help materials aren't there to make you feel stupid. It's because you are stupid in what they are trying to teach you to do. They're supposed to help you get smarter. So if you feel stupid at the beginning of it, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. But once you're done with the book, you should feel smarter, and you should have a whole bunch of bookmarks in the places you feel are important in case you need to go back.
Well, you see this kind of thing with any form of competence. There's always going to be a handful of people that get the opportunity to do something where they kind of get they have the opportunity to push as many carts without horses as they want, as ironic as that saying is to use right now. But I mean, it's not really that surprising. At least not anymore. At first I was surprised because I was like, Jesus, he's got to, I mean, at what point do you stop making mistakes? Like, that's enough now.
Dunn's computer died. Dunn's computer died on him. Yeah, he just says so in the Discord.
Well, that's not good. He better plug it in.
Oh. It's, yeah. Oh, dear Lord. I mean, I would understand them not wanting to read self-help books if the help books were dry, and they probably are. But at the same time, if you're doing something that requires reading it, if you don't want to read it all, that's fine. But you need to find the chapter that details what you're doing at the moment and read that, if nothing else.
I don't care if I'm reading a book about how to peel an orange. If I read that book, I'm confident I'll be a little better at it.
Sorry.
Yeah, same here.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, it's like, you know, life is kind of like Fallout New Vegas in that way, where it's like, you know what? If I read this book, I'm gonna get a little bit better at it.
Yeah.
But it takes discipline, it takes commitment, and it takes a very goal-oriented mind. Not just goal-oriented in terms of produce, but goal-oriented in terms of improvement as well. You have to sort of see yourself as a product in that way sometimes.
Not only that, but you also need to be able to accept that you might need to read the book more than one time to make sure you know what the information is.
What's funny is I like to listen to audiobooks, and I'll find myself re-listening to portions over and over because I like to listen while I'm doing other things. So I'll sometimes tune it out and sometimes tune it in, and then I'll hear stuff that I didn't catch the last time.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Honestly, like, it doesn't even really bug me that they didn't try to learn from books at this point, because, like, book learning is something you do ahead of time, right? Like, that's a preparation type of thing, which clearly they threw out the window when they went for the job. So it's like,
yeah,
at this point, like, you have to learn on the go. You don't have another option because there's not enough time to do anything else. Like, you already kind of, you already told, I don't know. Like I said, it's so arrogant. It bugs me so much. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder who would have gotten the job if it wasn't for these guys.
Yeah.
They read something.
Yeah. Agreed.
They're too busy making their horse harem, so.
Yeah.
So.
Perhaps. Let's keep going. Let's talk about, like, what they did for the writer's room that they had.
What writer's room? Done.
Exactly. Exactly. They admit to having no writer's room.
At least if it was all of us, we'd be sitting in that room together discussing what we should do.
Yeah, I think season one we thought we would do all what we did in the first 4 years. We did one episode of season, and then we thought we were going to do all the other ones, and midway through writing season one, we were running out of time.
Oh, good Lord.
We had our assistant.
Oh, good Lord, good Lord. They got lucky once.
Season one, and HBO was trying to get us to hire other writers, like TV writers, and you thought, well, not Brian. He's smart and he knows this. Brian at that point had read the book, 3 times, and he's got almost insane memory, so he knew everything.
Mm-hmm. So, would you say that this is a professional thing to do? Is just ascend your assistant to?
No. No. If it had been us in that room, we'd be discussing, okay, who do we want to hire for this? Do we know anyone that we can just send?
No, they can't. They probably
invitation to, or what?
This is like how the Wario brothers would make a movie. I mean, seriously, like, come on, look at that. Read that paragraph.
Well, why not Brian? He's smart.
Make a movie.
He knows this stuff. By this point, he's read the books 3 times, and he's gotten insane memory, so he knew everything. He was really our go-to guy when we had a question about something from the books. Oh no, they didn't. Oh God, when you have a question about the books, you don't go to, if the author is still alive, you don't go to someone who's read the books multiple times. You go to the author.
Also, wouldn't you read the books yourself? More?
Yeah, read the books! Read the books, you idiots!
So far, would you say they have been taken out of context?
No.
No, they're answering the questions forthrightly.
Yeah, they are.
And they're very standard questions.
And they're just answering them in really insane ways.
Yeah, it's not like the guy's asking you how much of an asshole are you. They're just answering it as if that's what the question was.
And so we gave him episode
They're just like, hey, Bennioff, what's the most asinine thing you can say about yourself right now? Go. I think that's like the only way you could say this was out of context.
And the thing is,
and this last bit, so we gave him episode 3, 4, and then from that time he was one of our writers and up to producer, and now he's running his own show. Personally, I don't think he should be running his own show. Because I'm not sure he knows what he's doing.
Well, he got kicked.
Huh?
Well, he was on Lord of the Rings, but I think that he was tossed out since they cleared out the writer's staff.
Yeah, I won't pretend to know how this stuff works, but again, it just seems like, okay, so they gave him an episode and he was a good writer, so he's one of their writers now. That to me makes sense, but how do you go from that to producer, which is an entirely different skill set, I would imagine, and then running your own show, which is even more like that. There's so many different hats you have to put on for that. Like,
yeah.
Like, is that how things generally work, in television, is they just give people jobs because, well, you did this other thing good, so that means, I guess, you can do these things too? Like, it just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's like asking a musician for their political views, but then again, I guess that's not unheard of nowadays.
Well, I guess asking a musician for his input on how to construct a house.
Well, that's because people don't believe in specialty, at least not anymore.
But that's the weird thing. These guys aren't even far leftists. They're
oh no, I'm not even talking about that anymore. I was just using that as an example. I was just being witty. But no, yeah. I mean, like you said, from a practical standpoint, it's like the Wario brothers. Like you got 2 out of 3 Stooges falling over their own feet.
And it's also the thing is, HBO said HBO is pressuring them. Hire other well-known TV writers for this. We will give you the money to do it. They said, "Oh, why not Brian, our coffee boy?"
I'm surprised they didn't try to get one of the horses to write it.
Poor Brian, look, that's the face he's making right there that you can see. He's like, oh, I just got compared to a horse.
Yeah.
I got an idea. Print how-to instructions on the naked body of an ambiguously brown woman. That'll get his attention.
You know, it probably would have worked, which is the scary thing.
Just go home, go on Pornhub at 1 o'clock in the morning, go to the interracial section, and then leave it at that, and then go to work. Get it out of your system, and then go to work. It's all right. It happens to the best of us. Don't worry about it. Go home, lay one out, and then get back to work. You don't gotta keep chucking naked black women everywhere.
Well, they're not black women, are they? They're supposedly ambiguously brown.
I don't care what they are.
I thought that was Bennioff.
Go home, find the
That is.
category,
Okay.
and then get back to work.
But yeah, I'm with you. I don't care. If you're going to have nude scenes with that, don't just throw brown women at us. There are some people who do not find brown women very attractive. If you're going to do that, put in some of everything. Put some white ladies.
I was gonna say,
put
to
some
be fair, I'm
black.
pretty sure like everybody in that show.
Well,
was
I
naked
don't
at
care
one
about
point
that.
or
I'm
another.
just teasing him. I'm just teasing him because of his obsession. I honestly don't care if it's all black women. That doesn't bother me. I mean, you know, like I have a crush on Uhura in Star Trek. I get it. All right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get it. But I mean, come on. Enough is enough now. Well, you watch Star Trek. It isn't just Uhura doing a strip tease for Kirk every 5 minutes. It's got other stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's just, it's too easy to make fun of this guy. I'm starting to feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't know how to read a room. It's really weird.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
So,
Okay.
so would you say that like what he has said is not insulting?
It is. It is insanely insulting. Because they had to know. Like, how could he have not known that this stuff would come out eventually? If not when it did, then sometime later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing, is that everything he is saying is coming out of his own mouth. He is saying all of these insane things to really, really innocuous questions. They're just like, oh, what is your writing process like? Oh,
All right, I'm back.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's keep going, shall we?
And maybe those kind of approach the guy when they had a question about.
Forgot how much I enjoyed these streams, man.
Yeah.
Four. And then it's not one of you would just one word of writing, so he goes
Ugh.
producer and now he's running his own show.
So they had to be exhausted.
Well, it's a short word for his passionate, and you know.
And I still don't think that Brian should have his own show.
I don't either. So,
He might have gotten lucky, but they should have gone, hey, this guy has talent. Let's send him off to school for a bit, and then he can come back and have the producer seat or whatever. Because I bet he's making all sorts of mistakes.
I'm going to take a question back.
So there's a lot of talk about having diversity in the writers' room today, and obviously, as you guys described your process, there were 4 white men primarily writing the show, and you had a lot of strong female characters, and compared to the books, which were a lot of strong characters and people of color. Do you guys?
Oh my god, I hate that term so much. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
What, people of color?
Yeah, why can't you just say blacks and Latinas or Latinos or Filipinos, whatever? Why can't you
Because
just
always have
use
to use
the
not
term?
white.
language to make a point.
Ugh. But it's
Yeah.
just, it's people of color, people of color, people of color. You don't do that when you're writing. You don't just use the same thing. That's repetition. You don't want that in writing. You don't.
Well, I mean, it's A, she's not writing, but B, I mean, what she really means is not white. Like,
Yeah, but it's just, if they keep doing this and saying, oh, you can't call them black or Latino or whatever wherever they're from, that you can only use people of color, then that really stymies people like us who need different words, because repetition equals not interesting.
They have this habit of always opening their statements in the same way. They have these questions like, oh, so you know, obviously you're white and you're breathing at the same time, and it's kind of a red flag, right? So and then they start like, what the fuck is this, man? These people are so like, come on.
Well, thing is, they even say some dumb stuff to this question.
Oh, good lord, I can't wait for that.
Question's dumb enough.
You're going full high Guardian spice on this?
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like, what was your decision process in deciding not to include women of color
Women or
in
people.
writing the episodes? Oh, yeah, that's gonna bite them. They should, yeah, they should say minorities instead of people of color.
Mm-hmm. Just wait.
Good lord.
Well, Vanessa Taylor was our writer and producer for Perion. She did that, and she wrote a number of scripts.
She wrote a number of scripts for us. What?
But by and large, we wrote most of the scripts. And decided the dates that we wanted to do from the very beginning, for the reasons we discussed earlier. Just that it was very,
oh, good lord.
We didn't come up in television, so we were.
Go for it, Neph.
You see the underlined part? We kind of knew that we could do this, and if we did it, it would be the best for the show. If you didn't know 100% that you could do it,
seems to me like he's changing the subject. He's like, yeah, fuck that. Like, he heard that question, he was like, fuck that. And then he just completely, like, he's like, I'm not touching that. He's like, well, all right, here's a couple of people that weren't white. No, I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Anyway, that's kind of what he did.
Yeah,
that's kind of what he did.
But back to the parts that are underlined. If you don't know what you're doing, how can you know what's best for the show? Because obviously they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, especially since they have admitted that, like, oh, I don't read screenwriting manuals. I don't think they're very well written.
What does he read? Only fiction? There are different styles to how things are supposed to be written. If you're writing something non-fiction, there is a specific style you're supposed to write it in. If you're writing fiction, then you can do whatever you want, almost. However, if you're writing in a universe that's already been created, and you're not creating your own, then there are rules and lore that you're going to have to follow. There are characters that are already written, and unless you create your own characters, there is a certain way that people are going to expect the characters to be characterized. And if you break that, that's no longer canon. Just like with... Okay, this is going to take us off topic for a bit. But this is exactly what Rian Johnson did when he murdered Luke, basically. And yes, I will not take that back. He murdered Luke as not just as a character either, but he actually did murder him. He murdered him.
Luke, and he neutered Han Solo.
Well, no, he didn't neuter Han Solo. That was JJ. JJ neutered Han Solo.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Thank you. You're right.
He also spayed Leia, but which I don't think people
he gave Leia
actually.
A dick.
he made Leia stupid, which
Oh my god.
he made
Yeah.
Leia really stupid.
And he made her
And
levitate for some
yeah,
reason.
He
They
made
took
Leia
away her
stupid
wit.
and then humidity, and
Yeah.
and took away her dignity by making her fly through space in what looked like a ridiculous Mary Poppins moment.
Yeah. It's like, if you were going to do that and you realized, oh no, later she died, just leave out her going back into the ship. Just cut that out and then have a scene where the characters are mourning Leia. Because Carrie Fisher's dead. She can't come back. She can't.
Yeah. Alrighty.
I kind of wonder why he even said the beginning half of this. Like, if your argument was going to be like, well, we didn't have those writers because we wanted to write most of it ourselves.
He was covering his ass.
Well, but it's
Yeah.
like one example of a woman, one example of someone who's not white, and then I like the bracket part where the person points out, you know, a number of scripts, 3 out of 73, 4 out of 73. Like, it would have been better for you to just not say anything, bro.
He was trying to cover his ass. He was like, well, I mean, there was this one black guy that walked by one time, I think, at the cafeteria.
Basically.
I think he worked
Yeah.
for us.
And we didn't come up in television.
Yeah. What is with these people and they have no life skills. They have no life skills, and yet they are given these absolutely huge projects. Bennioff and Weiss should not have been given Game of Thrones. He should have found what's his name and given it to him.
Rafe Judkins or Vince, the Breaking Bad guy, or the Wheel of Time guy.
I'm thinking Breaking Bad, but I was
Okay,
also
Vince
thinking
Gilligan.
the Spielberg.
Vince
Spielberg of
Gilligan.
TV.
Yeah,
Spielberg
Vince
of TV would probably have been the best person to give it to.
Give it to the
Yeah.
Last Kingdom guy. Fuck all that.
Yeah! Give it to the guy who's doing... Yeah, the Last Kingdom guy should have been given this, because we're only 3 episodes in, and it's amazing. How much more amazing would Game of Thrones had been if
That guy had
Last
done it.
Kingdom guy was doing it? And, you know, we probably would not have gotten only 8 seasons. We probably would have gotten all the seasons Bennioff thought that the books could give us.
And we would have had 4 times as much content because half of it wouldn't have been porn.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. So the executive producers are Stephen Bouchard, Gareth Neum, and Nigel Marchant are the executive producers.
Of
And apparently-
Last Kingdom?
Yep.
Occupation Army said, I'm impressed we're already halfway through the video.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh god, we are! Wow, how did we get there?
Well, because
Oh,
the
we
video
have-
is much shorter than usual.
Yeah,
Also-
that's true. It's,
Also,
what, 12
this
minutes?
is part 1 of 3. This is part 1 of 3.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh no.
Never
Part
mind.
1
We're
of 3.
We're gonna be here for 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
That's my genuine prediction. About 4 hours and 15 minutes, and then 2 hours of Neph and I talking about Sonic.
Or something else, because that's
My
usually
day
what happens.
My day is fucked, man.
Sorry. I will. Let's keep going, shall we?
Yes.
Unfamiliar with traditional writers and how those ideas work, we kind of knew that we could do this, we could get these scripts done on our own, and that if we did, it would be best for the show. So the main decision we made, short answer application, main decision we made was to try and write as much of it as we could, because we were going to be the ones who were there every day supervising it, and that
You just admitted a few minutes ago that you didn't go to night shoots after season 5.
Main decision. Short answer out of the gate. Main decision we made was to try and write as much of it as we could ourselves. We're going to be the ones who were there every day. Okay, you might have been there, but you were only there for maybe a couple of hours, and you weren't there for the
technically,
next
he did
stuff.
say day, and you were referring to the night shoots done. So
Fair enough.
We didn't have a writer's room. That is so damning.
Yes.
That is so damning. I do not know how people caught that. I really don't. When was this?
So this was 20. This was 20. I think this was 2020, early 2020.
Oh, right, when we still had Comic-Cons to go to.
Yeah. Well, they chickened out of Comic-Con, but yet they went to this.
I think they should have passed on this and gone to Comic-Con instead, but
well,
it's a good thing they didn't, because they're admitting stuff that would make that are making everyone go, why?
Yeah.
Why were they even hired if they had no experience doing it whatsoever?
Yeah. So we can see here that the people who are saying, "Oh, they're taking out of context," would you think it's fair to say that they are sheep? That they are sheep in stands?
I don't know what the bits are that got shared on Twitter or whatever, live tweeted, so I don't really know.
Well, they're saying that the audio, like they're saying like everything in this panel was taken out of context. Every stupid thing that they said was taken out of context.
They're drones.
Let's go with that. Yep.
This guy can wipe his ass on the script and submit it to people, and they'll love it.
Yeah, no, we can tell when we're being given excrement. Let's say.
Yep. Let's keep going, shall we? This is the writing.
Yeah.
The writer's room was their office. 2 chairs in it, not facing each other, talking as they typed.
Oh, that is even worse. It would be one thing if they were facing each other or sitting side by side, looking over each other's shoulders at what they were doing, so that they could give input on what was going to be happening. But this.
So.
Also, she had run her own show, for instance, and what her looking at others was very different in our show. With the writers group that we had, Brian, Vanessa, they were there for all. They weren't just writers; they were there on set every day, all day.
Oops.
So. Here comes a really weird bit.
Okay. I thought it was weird already.
Oh. So,
Go back a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
It said something of, they were there all day, every day. They were on the set all day. Brian, Dave, Vanessa, and Dave. They were there. They were all on. They weren't just writing. They were there on set every day, all day.
Which, like, just a second ago was the reason he gave that they didn't write more of it, was because...
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily send writers there. That's...
What happened? But all day means you're there for the entire shoot. That would include the night, during the night, right?
Yep.
they were there all day, every day. So, Dave, is that Bennioff or Weiss? I don't care to remember. That's Weiss?
It says on the thing. Yeah.
Oh.
They were...
David Weiss. Brian, Vanessa, and David Weiss were all there. They were there all day, every day. Yeah, I call bullshit on that because you both said that you didn't go to the night shoots. All day means all day includes the night shoots, you idiots.
Mm-hmm. And leaving their poor crews to, like, muddle through with them swanning up, like, occasionally.
Oh, this is just...
And then here's what they decided to do when the writer said, no, I'm not going to do it. Said,
they're on set every day, all day, and then one of the locations all day, and another location. And we told Vanessa, okay, yours is the best one. You join us, and literally still there in the rain in Belfast. And we were right all for 6 or 7 months.
Okay.
Belfast in the middle of the night for 6 or 7 months out of it.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord. Are you... This is... What the... Out in the rain. In the middle of the night. They weren't out in the rain. Are you crazy? Of course they weren't. They were underneath either...
They were drinking beer and scotch.
Yeah! And they weren't out in the rain like the actors were and the camera people. They were sitting nice and cozy in either a studio or under an umbrella or an overhang. They weren't in the weather.
It just sounds like they're using very self-congratulatory, idiosyncratic language. I don't feel like they're flat out lying here. I just think they're just being very self-congratulating. Even though that is flat out bullshit. They weren't out there in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And, Weiss, I want to win an Oscar instead of sitting in the rain. Well, how about instead of sitting in the rain, you find studio space and you quit micromanaging and let the actors do their actual fucking jobs.
Yeah.
Let them become the characters instead of rewriting the characters to fit the actors.
Yeah,
you are insulting every single actor and actress that you are working with by doing so.
Oh, is Drake the Duelist back?
Nah, we lost.
Oh no, he seems to be gone.
Well, in private chat, he said he's back.
Oh yeah, he's in the chat. Yeah, done. Let him in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they admit
There,
to
just
that.
wanted to get some water and my connection died.
Wow.
They admitted that. Just wait.
It's
just wait till part 2. This is just all about their qualification.
I'm surprised that all the actors and actresses that worked with them aren't offended by this.
Maybe they are.
They should be offended by this because this is not allowing them to do their jobs. Micromanaging does not let them put a mask on so that they can become the person that the name implies instead of going, oh, this character is wearing my clothes because the character was rewritten for my actual personality.
Just wait. He gets into that.
Oh, good lord.
Well, like I feel like they're low key throwing shade too at the woman that left to go.
Oh
right
yeah.
water.
Oh
Oh, they
yeah.
totally
And it's like,
are.
Oh
it's
yeah.
like
Low key,
she was the one-
nothing. That seems pretty blatant.
right.
Yeah.
Was it, what, 3 out of 73 or 4 out of 73?
Yeah,
I don't
they're
remember.
really throwing her under the bus.
But yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with not wanting to work hard, sit in the rain, whatever. It seems like she just wanted to actually write, which is fair.
Yeah, and I don't think she could deal with them anymore. Personally.
Yeah, and towards the end, it was just them, those two guys, and their 2 assistants that they ascended to becoming executive producers / writers. Like Dave Hill was their assistant, just like Brian Cogman. Then he got ascended to writer status.
Yeah. So it's a how much of our bullshit can you put up with, and then we'll promote you kind of thing. Which, I mean, I'm sure that happens all the time. That's not going to be specific to them, but
It seems like the level of BS here is insane.
Yeah.
Like, even by
It's
TV
like-
standards, like this seems like
It
seems
sounds
as though,
like hazing.
especially like compared to like.
it does. Like, I agree.
Well,
That's
I guess like
exactly-
the only comparison I can think of is like Apocalypse Now, which apparently has one of the most insane, horrible production stories in history.
Oh, good lord.
But it
How
seemed
can
like
it be
it was
worse than
every
this? How can it be worse than this?
Well,
We gotta save that for next time.
Okay, yeah.
well, I know there's a documentary called Heart of Darkness about the making of said film. Apparently, it's like insane what happened. Like everybody was going nuts on set because they were out in the rainforest and they were dying of heat.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Let's keep going, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's see. Come on.
Did we lose Dunn again?
I think so. I think we
Yeah.
might have lost him.
Oh,
We're done. He's done.
yep.
What was the name of that other show he was referring to? Something about an apocalypse?
Yeah, I already forgot.
It's alright.
Apocalypse Now was the name of it, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, we gotta save that for next time. We'll look into that documentary he was talking about. I'm sure that'll be a hell of a ride.
I think the first 3 or 4 years.
I was back, and now it's gone again.
Yeah.
Internet issues.
I wonder if it's sort of like back away. Would anyone notice? Yes, they would back away. They'd notice. Oh, and they're using the Simpsons meme.
Oh yeah, because this is back before. This is where they were talking about missing night shoots.
Yeah, this is insane.
Sorry, I think I'm back.
You're
Oh,
all right.
yay.
We hear you, Don. We hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like they
TV.
said,
Oh. Listen to this.
Mm.
And I think for the first 3 or 4 years of the TV show, we never missed a night shoot. Probably the first 4 seasons. I don't know. I think I'm going to call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
I could see it being true, just because I mean, if things were that chaotic, it almost seems like I don't know.
And
They would have
were the
had
only
to have been
guys.
there.
And
Yeah,
they were the only
doing
guys.
so much of it themselves. Yeah.
And then like they just and like they said, "Oh, go off, Vanessa Taylor. We don't want you around." And then they were so hypocritical that they did the exact same thing, but they didn't get fired because they were the showrunners.
Yeah, what she wanted to do was she wanted to write, and she was only given, what, 3, maybe 4 episodes out of all the episodes they'd done? She should have been given a lot more, in my
Was she
opinion.
any good?
Well, if she wrote Shape of Water, then evidently.
Uh,
I don't know. I saw Shape of Water, and my favorite part of the entire movie was how much crap they dumped on Baltimore.
let me look. I'll be able. I have most of the episodes memorized, so I'll be able to tell you which ones are which.
Well, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, she was a co-executive producer, and then she left it in season 3.
Mm.
Okay, so she wrote some good.
I don't know if Dunn's
you're
lagging for
cutting
anybody
out.
else. But yeah,
Yeah,
he's cutting
as
out
well.
on me.
Stuff.
How did? That's all right. It's all right, then.
But this is, holy crap, this, God, I'm glad I have people to sit with to get through this, because I don't
we're
think
kind of the reason you're getting through it anyway.
It's like, when you have people who have no idea what you're even doing going, this is not how that is done, you've really, really fucked up.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, hello,
Aw.
Semantic Dragon. It's one of the few don't watch the director cuts films out there. Like, they just added stuff that was honestly best left out. And
You know what was good? You know what was a good director's cut, Neph?
which one?
Sonic Adventure.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah, it was. It's even better if you have the mods to reskin it, though.
To be honest, I actually have no idea what the director's cut even does. I just remember the box says it.
Hello again, Dunn.
There he is.
Sorry, my computer is garbage.
You're all right, man.
Are you saving up to replace it?
I need to get my next paycheck in. And
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently, I've been throwing a lot of money into the stock market, since cruise ships are at a all-time low, and I'm just like, ooh, that could be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I put about $1,000 in.
Smart.
I've invested in paper making and Norwegian transportation.
Nice.
I think I threw a little bit into JetBlue as well, because you can never go wrong with JetBlue.
Yeah. Smart decision. Alrighty. And they backed out of. They just admitted, like.
What I'm hoping with the transportation thing is that it goes back up within the next 2 months. Because I always purchase 60 days worth. Did he get shot? He got shot.
And, so we had our assistant Very hard. They moved to the government before with giving us more.
Done. Did you take a bullet?
No.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. He's like, he basically just like said what's on the thing, where, and we've already gone through a lot of this, where we have, like, they skipped out on night shoots, were fairly lazy, just let their crew handle it. Said, oh, wait, or this was an extremely expensive film school.
Process in deciding not to include women of color.
Yeah. It's just, what if J.K. Jemison, who is a writer, actually, who said, what if we had gotten the best? The most talented, most experienced people who are passionate about the work. How amazing could the result have been? We'll never know. And that will
I love how you said
Yes.
J.K.
And that will
Jameson, like
haunt
J.
you.
Jonah
Yeah.
Jameson by accident.
Yeah. And, like, mainstream news. Like, it's very unusual that, like, the live tweet thread combined with the audio, like, Forbes, Esquire, and The Root, Forbes and Esquire, at least, would not just report on a live tweet thread. They got their hands on the audio, verified it, and then said, all right, let's run with this.
Mm.
And there are people who say, like, oh, I listened to the audio. They didn't say really insulting things. They were taken out of context.
Oh no, they are. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah. Or,
Here we go.
yeah, it's just like Hugo Award-winning black female author N.K. Jemisin, a Hugo Award-winning author. Like, that's not small potatoes. Hugo Award's a pretty big deal. So, it's like, while this does touch upon issues of white male privilege, that's only a part of it. They didn't even try to say, we hired the best, most talented people, regardless of race or gender. They just didn't hire other writers at all.
Yeah, they just didn't hire anybody.
Yeah. Nope. They wanted to monopolize all of the writing, directly against HBO, telling them to do it. And they were just bragging about how unqualified they are to run a TV show.
Yeah.
It's like, and he did, like, it's provable that he did get it, because his dad is a personal buddy of Richard Plepler, which probably helped a lot.
There we go. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, so, because, you know, they're talking about white male privilege, and it's like, I'm sure there are plenty of white guys that would love to do that job and would get told no. So it's not that. Like, where's the nepotism?
Well, I have a feeling people kind of need it to be that. Otherwise, when they get up in the morning, they have to be a reasonable human being, and we can't have that.
No.
So, okay, he has a dad that has connections. Now it makes sense. I was like,
Yeah, let's have this fucking guy be the representative of white males in America. Yeah.
Yeah. And the weirdest thing was, one of their most ardent defenders, he has an IRL, is a pretty leftist dude. Like, and yet, it's just like, I had a very lengthy Twitter argument where he just kept bleeding over and over. Oh, they were taken out of context. And the only reason why they said themes are for 8th grade book reports was because the dude was pestering them while they were drunk. And it's like, okay, at what? And it's like, well, the question was, what's the overall intentionality of the book series? Themes are for 8th grade book reports.
Yeah, that's
It's like, allow me to set the record straight. I thought the cop was a prostitute.
So, it's from an article, and this article is from 2013. before the hate train started. So it's from Grantland, May 27th, 2013. I will put the link in the description. So where it comes from, this is where this is where this came from, and it blew up after the show. So okay. When I asked Bennioff, it was possible to infer any overall intentionality into the upcoming 10 episodes they sneered. Themes are for 8th grade book reports.
Themes.
Yeah. Like, and he says they were taken out of context. They were drunk and he was bugging them. Okay. They're drunk all the time. They show up to
So
everything
how's that
drunk.
new?
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, this is from 8 years before. Like, this is from like 7... About 7 years before this. And 6 years before the torpedoing of the show.
Wow.
So it's now coming back because people are examining this man. And he's saying a lot of insane things. Like, whatever he's giving the context. This is what they had said. This is what they said. They're saying really crazy things to innocuous questions.
Yep.
Alrighty, here's the worst one so far. Boy, we have worse to go after this one, but...
Oh dear.
Okay, I can do one more question in the back there. Yep. Oh, sure. You.
Okay, cool. Hi. I just wanted to say, how do you pitch a show as big as this? I mean, HBO is HBO. But, like, how do you show so many, like, story arcs and characters, like, places, locations, and money? How do you, like, especially y'all didn't have, like, a huge background, you know? So, I guess y'all had done so much work before, but it doesn't have to get how do you so big and get it?
Did they pitch this show? Because I thought they pitched it.
And for people in here, how do you pitch a show so big, especially when you have much experience?
It's a little bit of a con job.
That's because they're cons. Oh, hi, Wolfie.
Is that at least their honest moment?
Yeah. Well, let's hear him say that it was a con job. So, like, and they admit that we went to George and we were like, we puffed ourselves up.
Much experience going into it. First of all, it's a little bit of a con job.
He actually said this was a con job.
And I mean, he
Like,
meant it as a joke, but
based on his other statements, like we went to George and it was part of that thing. We had never produced anything for film or TV or internet before, and when we went to George, probably it was like when you have that bluff where you think you have it straight and you don't. We just acted so confident that he let us adapt the books.
yeah. So do they show the rest of, like, in part 2 or whatever? Do they follow up, like, whatever the rest of that sentence was? Because I am genuinely curious how he worded this.
I don't think so, but this is kind of more like each. So we have 3 sections. Well, we have 4 sections. Let me get this to non-full screen. So we have. They admit they rewrote characters to show off their favorite actors. Skipping night shoots. And if I stay silent long enough, people will answer the question for me. Along with relevant clips.
Fun.
Yep. This is just it's kind of amazing that like it's, and what is kind of surprising to me is just like really big news sites reported on a live tweet thread. But the thing was, the live tweet thread was verified with audio.
Yeah.
Yep. And I retweeted the live tweet thread, so we can go over to that once we finish with the videos and kind of read out, oh, have they been taken out of context? It's like, no.
No. I'm sorry,
far-
no, they have not.
You don't understand that being paid for the costume is worth it to have kind of
The world's most expensive film school.
Dan wrote this great scene between King Robert and Queen Elizabeth, and because we realized that we didn't have a single scene with the two of them alone together in the rest of the show. And, so there's 100 minutes of scenes that ended up in the season, and it was really the first time I think that we started out writing these scenes, and these weren't scenes we were supposed to. So this is the first time I think we deviated at all from the central narrative. And I think we got to know the characters a lot better. By that point, we already been working with these actors for several months, and their voices, they were in our heads. We were writing for King Robert, and you have Mark Haggard's voice in your head. It's just a huge win. And that was, again, a weird circumstance where our inexperience ended up kind of helping. We learned so much from that.
Well, so you are taking us back to character.
Our inexperience ended up kind of helping.
What? No, the more you. Oh my god.
Well, it has nothing to do with what they had just said. Like, what about that had anything to do with being inexperienced? I'm confused.
Okay, so
I would think.
they're saying.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so it was like it was a lot of extra scenes. So one of my favorite scenes from the first season was we wrote this scene between King Robert and Cersei. We didn't realize it was kind of extra scenes that ended up there because they actually fell short of a full season length by 100 minutes, so they had to make up filler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
Yep. And so, yeah, and they said, like, we learned about the characters by writing the actors.
No, that's not how you do it.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
And then, like, our experience.
There he goes.
Again.
Yep. Well, I'm still here.
Oh, there you are.
I'm still here. Don't worry.
You cut out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's fine. Well, I think that was actually just me. I just got distracted by something. Squirrel.
Ooh,
yeah,
shiny.
like our
This is where the
not
fun
literal
begins.
shiny. He's not my type, unfortunately. Sorry, shiny. No offense.
Well, you're both
Yeah.
clones, right? I think it would just be masturbation.
Wankers before clankers.
Yeah. So but yeah, he's admitting our inexperience helped us to write the characters better.
No, that's
By
not how it
writing the
works. You write the characters by actually writing. If you have not written a single word of fiction, then you have no idea what you are doing. And that does not help you. No, it does not help you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. with knowing what Dunn was saying about them needing to fill time, I think maybe what they meant was their inexperienced decision that led them to having to fill time led to them writing a good scene. But yeah, I don't know.
And a big part of it was like they wanted to write a battle in season 1, but they ended up having to cut it because they ran out of budget.
Okay. Yeah.
No
Like, you remember
money budgeting skills, no time management skills, no nothing. These guys were completely underqualified. They were not qualified at all. They shouldn't have even applied.
Yeah, you remember that battle at the end in that Tyrion was supposed to take part in season 1, where he gets knocked out and doesn't participate? That was supposed to be an actual battle, but they ran out of budget, so they had to figure out other ways to fill that time.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. I mean, you go, okay, we're marching into battle. Oh, just kidding. Our main character got knocked out, so you don't get to see it. Like, that's writers speak for something went wrong, honestly. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And originally it was thought like, oh, they deliberately did that. It's like, no, there were like real world reasons for why they didn't do that. There weren't narrative related.
yeah, I mean, it was a funny moment, but it definitely, even the first time I watched it, read as something didn't go the way they intended it to.
Yeah. So let's keep going, shall we? There's more. And combined with like their other quotes.
I'd like to hear more about where were you in the process learning these characters you're talking about and figuring out, okay, yes, they're in the books and the next book and the next book, but where are you going to add some of these pieces you're talking about to expand their character's world? And Ari's a good example. I mean, she was such a great character, and the journey you took her on, which made her, somebody so incredibly charismatic. And so that process, how did that, these discussions that were happening early on?
As far as the characters go, the Thrones has included like a second family that spent much time with these guys as we with our own families, but actually a lot more of that. And my Thrones children saw more of me than my actual children did. With a lot of years, and as you get to know Sophie and Maria and everybody, they find their way, the person finds his or her way in the character, and they just have, it's like they redecorate the house that you get them.
Oh, like I
He's
said,
doing his serial killer laugh.
Oh, serial killer laugh. Okay, that's interesting way of describing things.
And the thing is again, like in some situations this could work, right? A show where you're writing your own characters, this works and it's fine, and it's even good to play off your actor's strengths. But when you're writing a show where the characters already exist and they have things that they're going to have to do, you can't then write in character traits that go against that because it fits your actor. Like
making what's her name, Cersei, motherly when she's supposed to be a stone cold bitch.
Exactly, because they had these really charismatic actors and they go, okay, well then we want to make these characters likable. But if they do things that are inherently unlikable, then you come up against issues later on, which is what happened. I mean, so many of the characters by the end made no sense in their choices.
Well, the thing is that characters like Cersei, who are stone cold bitches, it doesn't matter if what they're doing is good or not, because if they're written well enough, people will like them because they love to hate them. That's what happened with other characters like that, like with, I'm sorry I keep going to Star Wars, but Vader is a prime example of a character that people absolutely love, not because he's a protagonist, but because he's an antagonist and we love to hate him.
Well, also, like, he's cool.
Yes!
He's really cool.
He's really cool. And if you can make a character, if you can make any villain as awesome as Darth Vader is, it doesn't matter if they're going to be doing really horrible things. You're still going to like the character because the character is just that awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it's some kind of charisma to them. It's like the Doctor
Yeah.
Doom effect, basically.
Yeah.
He's like the go-to example of the charismatic, arrogant villain I could think of.
As
Yeah.
long as the actors
Or-
have the charisma to pull it off, then it doesn't matter what kind of character they are playing.
And
As
that's the
long as
thing.
the character is well written, people are going to like the character.
Yeah, and they had such an all-star cast, honestly. Like, there were so many of these actors that did a phenomenal job that it's
Yeah.
like they could have played anything you wrote. Like,
Yeah, it's back away. Stop trying to micromanage what they do, because then they are not acting.
Yeah, and also like what they're saying, like they, and after a few seasons, they don't. It doesn't resemble the house they moved into.
No,
Like,
it doesn't.
Yeah, like they're saying, it doesn't even resemble the character that was originally on the page. The actor has become the character, or at least the character has become the actor, rather.
Yeah.
And like following their lead, them as writers are following their lead as much as they're following their lead, and they're creating the psychological nuances for their character as much as you are on the page. That's not writing.
No, it's not.
It's not even adapting. It's supposed to be the other way around. Like RDJ became Iron Man. Wolverine guy.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman became Wolverine.
Yeah.
And all of these characters become who they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Like Hugh Jackman, like whenever he wanted to, like was going to play Wolverine, like because like he didn't want to wake up his wife, he always took cold showers, and he just found that it helped him to get into character.
I've heard similar things about Ben Affleck playing Batman and Donald Trump playing Wall Knight. I've heard very similar things about that.
Or Daniel Day-Lewis kind of just being the character because it's easier. Even though it's kind of like Daniel Day-Lewis has done some really weird things that have kind of make him come off as a bit of an a-hole, but
Yeah.
yeah, like going into like arguing with an airport guy because he wanted to bring a knife onto the plane.
Well, didn't
because
I think it was Jared Leto's Joker.
Oh,
Didn't
that's just yes.
Wasn't
used condoms and dead rats.
Yeah.
that was such a mess.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. What do you expect? It was a horrible mess behind the scenes. They brought in the trailer company to do the editing for the film.
Yeah, like there's a place for method acting, but when you go so far with it that you're like, I have to torture my castmates to successfully play this character. Well, maybe you're just not a good actor then.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Maybe you're
if
just
that's-
insane.
Right.
Yeah. Or like when he's like actively like they're just I don't know whether to be creeped out or like impressed at his smoothness of like when he just like gave was giving an interview and like just gave like Emilia Clarke a hug while being interviewed, and just like they're going back and forth, and he's just has his arm around her shoulder the whole time, and then like eventually she manages to slither away.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, let's keep going.
After a couple seasons, in some cases, it doesn't even resemble the house. Work on it. They're creating. You're following their lead as much as they're following your lead. You're creating the psychological nuances of their character as much as you said, it makes it much easier. You hear, whenever you're writing Mark or Sean or especially like a kid you live in Peter and ones who were there for the whole, all 8 seasons, you can write a line and you know instantly that won't sound right from the house. That's not the way these versions of it is.
Okay, wait a minute. Didn't the whole thing have lines of dialogue that were just what?
Yeah, like so many cock and ball jokes.
It's
Is that
like,
where Finger Up the Bum came from?
I imagine it probably did.
Because that's a meme even outside Game of Thrones circles.
That's not the way Peter's version of Tyrion would say this, even subtle word choice. But you don't even know how to write. You think you have a style and you don't even know how to write.
And part of it is like they put like really complicated scene description and in the
Rather than humbling herself, she was proud of her insufficiency.
Yeah. We seem to be using those memes everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just so insane. Like he says, like Peter's version of Tyrion. Peter was playing Tyrion Lannister for the first 4 seasons. Then you changed it to just Peter Dinklage being charming Peter Dinklage instead of a really dark character who's obsessed with getting vengeance.
Exactly. It's
who
like,
who makes comments about raping his own sister because of how much he hates her.
it's like, what the hell are you doing? You hire these people so that they can become the character. You don't hire these people so that you can rewrite the characters to be them, to be the actors. That's not what you do. That's not how it works. If that these people can mold themselves into the characters means that they are really good at what they do. And when you rewrite the characters to fit, when you rewrite the characters who are dark and
Gritty.
to be
Quirky and weird.
Yeah, be quirky and weird, not just that. But if you rewrite the characters to fit the personalities of the people that are supposed to be becoming them, then you have no idea what you're doing. And you're not letting the characters be themselves.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even have to do any work for this. All they need to do is go through, find some cliff notes in the actual books, give like, hey, Peter, read this. This is basically how Tyrion works. Kit, read this. This is basically how Jon Snow works. That's how I'd do something like this.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. Like, you have the script written for you. You can change a few things, like maybe cut out some scenes, because the books are huge. But
they just looked at the book and they were like, okay, how can we make this bad?
Well, and I mean, the thing is sometimes adaptations from book to movie or book to TV show, they have to change some things because there's some stuff that, is interesting to read, but it's not captivating enough to hold people's attention on the screen, right? And so that's understandable. You make choices as a writer to change things, but I think the issue is that they were lazy in both regards, right? Because they didn't make their own choices as far as what was going to happen hardly ever, unless it had to do with complying to something that had to do with
somebody's eyebrow movement.
Yeah, they were either following the book or they were following the actor. It feels like they never really made their own decisions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does.
And it's a shame because this could have been the greatest show of all time. Like, and was remembered as something that will last like forever, like Breaking Bad, or The Wire. Everybody that I know of says Breaking Bad is one of the best shows ever. It had the best ending that I have ever seen.
I think Sopranos was a good example. You could have pulled that out.
Yeah. Well, like, Sopranos is kind of like controversial, I guess. Like, some people like it, some people hate it.
I haven't heard anyone that dislikes it.
Maybe well, I'll have to find out. I just heard that, like, some people hated it, some people
Well, remember, if
disliked
people
it.
think that something is misogynistic, that just means it's actually good.
Well, it's just people don't like necessarily the ambiguous, like, cut to black.
Oh yeah, I heard things about that. Yeah, didn't it like cut to black mid-sentence or something?
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Martha joke of its day.
Everyone's like, "What do you mean?" And then they're just watching the credits.
And it wasn't even like a funny way to do it. Like they cut it right in the middle. What the fuck?
Like Spider-Man 2. Like Spider-Man Homecoming, I mean. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that did happen there.
Yeah. Yeah, let's keep going, shall we? Let's keep going, shall we?
Choices you kind of have a model in your head, and they can almost be a table in your head of the things you're writing, chat, writing, and kind of tell how it's going to play. Just as you're
Yeah, but you don't know the characters.
These are the fun ones.
Jeremy and David and Dan, all of us, this was very carefully plotted out. It was a very hard day on set, but also I will say, as a writer and as a producer, an exhilarating day, because the work being done that day, I think, is some of the best work being done on the show in terms of the way it's shot, and in terms of the camera moves, the lighting, the dressing, and most of all, these performances, these faces.
Yeah, but it's such a strong scene. I mean, it's even though it's cruel, but
I mean, Alfie and Sophie are they're just extraordinary. And if you ask why we wanted to bring Sansa into this world, it didn't have to do with this scene. It had to do with the idea of her coming back to reclaim her family home, and encountering this broken character who betrayed her family, and the fireworks of these actors, two of our finest actors in the cast, playing off each other.
Oh.
That was why we made the decision to put Sansa in Winterfell.
What?
That was
okay. Was she supposed to be there anyway?
No.
No, this was never supposed to happen.
Okay, so this is a for sake, Bennioff.
They took this character and it literally there's lots of sexual assault in this show, and for a while they got away with it because they were mostly following the book, so that this one was the one where they chose and they added another one. And the thing is everyone kind of watched it and went, why? Like, there really was no character development for anybody out of this. Like,
oh, Wolvie, that's no. And you're not supposed to end a series on a cliffhanger.
At first, people thought it was going to be like character growth for Theon Greyjoy because he steps in and like stands up to this guy finally or whatever. But then, I mean, you go on and Theon Greyjoy ends up being a coward again. So it's like, what was the point?
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any character arcs listening to what you're saying. So it's just
there's a lot of back and forth. Like there's a lot of they make a choice with, again, it seems like based off of the actors, based off of something having to do with how the actors are playing it. But then there's a plot point from the books that they decide they're still going to do, that it's like, well, this character would no longer have made that decision.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to show Theon being brave, then he can't go on to betray his sister later on, Like,
Yeah.
So the thing is, so like to explain like the difference. So in the book, Jane Poole, Sansa's friend, is being passed off as a fake Arya, and is sent off to the Boltons as a like a fake as like a fake Stark girl to try and help the Boltons maintain control of the North. So, and however, in the show, it is Sansa who is brought north by Littlefinger. Whereas in the book, Sansa is in the Vale preparing to be married off to the guy who is about to come into control of the Eyrie, who by all accounts is an upstanding guy, so that Littlefinger can kill him and have her instated as Lady of the Vale with her as his puppet. And there's this whole thing of how Littlefinger is like one of the biggest villains of the series is probably going to be taken down because Sansa is his weakness, and she has the ammunition to take him down. And they tossed all of it away just because they hadn't set up Jane Poole earlier in the story. And they didn't think, oh, we can just kind of put her in there as kind of part of a throwaway line. So, yeah. They could have done so many, like, things, but they just decided, oh, because we want these actors to play off each other, let's change the story arbitrarily.
Well, one of the things that you want is you want all the characters to have good chemistry. You want all the actors that you hire to have good chemistry with each other. There should be no one person that the rest of the cast just cannot
jive with.
Yeah. And you are not supposed to put two people together who are not supposed to be in the scene so they can play off each other. That's not how it works. If one of the characters is not supposed to be there, then the actor or actress that's playing that character should not be in the scene.
And also that wording is just so great. The fireworks of these actors, like you're talking, like they're sitting there talking about it like they have good chemistry, and they're talking about a sexual assault scene. Like, so fucking unsettling.
It is. It's like these people think there's no other way to do things.
Oh god, that was funny.
Yeah, like
that was a good one.
And it doesn't even have plot relevance like it does in the book. Like in the book, like Jane Poole getting raped as fake Arya makes the Northerners at the wedding nearly riot.
I mean, you can change things when you're swapping mediums. Like I'll give you a perfect example when they changed the ending to Death Note in the drama. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to. But I already know I'm gonna love it because that was what I wanted in the show. It was, Kira groveling to Elle. That's what we all wanted to see. And I think that was a good example of changing something where it's like, well, they're probably going to like this. Or like if you're reading a story that you're going to translate into a show and you see that there's a missed opportunity in the story, and then you consider, hey, maybe we should do it.
Yeah.
And then you take into consideration what the repercussions of that change will be.
Well, and I almost wonder because, with the last book still not being written and
the last two books
okay. Well, so I almost wonder if they just didn't know where they were going, and that's why some of these choices ended up so weird because they didn't know what the long-term repercussions were going to be. Well, like I would assume that at the very least, they would have sat down with George R. R. Martin and said, okay, we at least need bullet points of what
they actually did.
Okay, then yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So
it's so stupid. And it's like, he's decided, I'm not ever going to finish the series.
Yeah, and it's really sad because the poor man is just, like, seems like he just doesn't really have that much motivation to do it.
It does. Well,
and I think part of it is that he was watching them completely destroy his baby. Because this book series was his baby. The same way that Star Wars was Lucas's baby.
I would think so, because he's one of those authors that's really kind of notorious for hating fan fiction, right? And so it's like, how much and the reason why is because he gives a couple reasons, but one of them is because he doesn't want other people hurting his characters, right? And it's like, well, here, this scene in specific is like a really good example of someone doing something horrible to one of his characters.
Yeah. Well, it's even like he didn't like you had a character that this happens to, and everybody would have been fine with it. But the problem is, like, you mutilated a Burke character's plot from where it was and made Littlefinger somewhat less intelligent than he is, just for this scene, because you wanted to have a close-up on Alfie Allen's face.
Yeah, it's like, oh my good God.
Yeah, let's keep going. There's more quotes like this. This is the only one.
They wanted to close up on more things than just her face.
Oh no, they actually didn't. They actually
Really?
it's just her back that gets shown.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, comparatively, this scene was tasteful.
Like, in terms of its filming, it's like there's
That's
no
surprising.
like nudity. There's no nudity in it. I think maybe because Sophie Turner wasn't of age.
Yeah, that's
That might
probably
do it.
exactly why.
Yeah. And so like all that's shown is like her leaning on the bed and then like her screaming. And
that would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah, especially compared to what happens in the book. Some really bad things happen to Jane Poole in the book. Like, there's like hints that like he like whips her, makes her do things with his dogs. Really terrible things.
Yeah, well, which they kind of allude to that with his like that, because they had another girl who was into him, right? That was like
Miranda,
right?
yeah.
And so it seemed like they kind of alluded to all of that through her, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's keep going, shall we? More stuff about like how they.
It's been when this is all over, it'll be almost 10 years, and so I've gotten to know some of these actors and be able to write to their strengths and to know what an actor is capable of giving me in any given moment. Alfie's a great example of somebody who I know I can write an entire scene where he doesn't speak and script the subtext of what's going on, and he will convey all of that behind the eyes or with a look, and that's an incredible gift to a writer. The kinds of actors that can do that.
Littlefinger, Littlefinger has been a fascinating character for me to watch throughout the series because he has had a hand in, I feel like, almost everything that's happened.
Yeah, and a lot of it, there's that great look. This is, again, like
I find this utterly baffling personally because we have a writing question asked. Like, he's saying, "Oh, this great character has been involved in so much of the plot," and he's just like, "Oh, this actor just gave this really cool reaction shot that I thought was really cool," and he just acts it out. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, it does. It comes off like they relied super heavily on their actors.
Yeah, and just like didn't realize that like there are certain impossibilities that you cannot do. You cannot convey exposition with a look. That is physically impossible. If you're just focused on the other actor's face, you can glance back and forth with what the character is looking at to convey some context, but it's difficult.
praise our actors, but like that's another thing where you in those big crowd scenes you shoot coverage of everybody. They take forever. Those scenes in Great Hall where they're reacting. You got a camera on Aiden reacting to the whole scene. Aiden Dillon plays Littlefinger. And there's one little bit he did where he reads the thing about Daenerys arriving, and Aiden just goes, like, oh, okay, Daenerys Targaryen's alive with dragons. Make a note of that. Like, just watching him internalize that is delicious.
This is one of my favorite scenes of the whole season. Just the performances here, no movement, Selena on her knees and Jonathan sitting, but just so compelling watching both these faces.
No, there's nothing compelling about just looking at faces. There's nothing compelling about no movement. There's nothing compelling about that. Nothing. Nothing at all.
It just familiar faces. That's his theme song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of time to do that when you could have them speaking.
Comic book?
Huh?
Like make a comic book? I mean, they're not moving anyway. Might as well.
Yeah, that would probably work better. Oh, right, done?
Yep.
Personal chat between you and me. I gave you a link to what I think might work best. I've never had any trouble with the brand that I linked you to.
Oh.
So.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
And it seems to be on sale, which will probably help.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will definitely take a look at that. Alrighty, let's keep going. Yeah.
Again, another time it's just get out of the way and let them do their thing.
We knew episode 6 didn't just pick up visually where episode 5 left off, and I think from the very beginning
why not?
we knew that a large part of episode 6 in the beginning especially was going to be not about what was being seen, but about the person who was seeing it and what it was doing to him, as seen largely in shots that stay very close to Peter's face.
Oh, this is season 8, isn't it?
Indira's just a fantastic actress.
Yeah, she really is so powerful.
Oh my god.
Another character we didn't expect to go on beyond season 4.
She showed up at Nina and Robert's office, and we were huge fans of hers from Rome. And we really hadn't planned on Ilaria being much more than an accessory to Oberyn. But as soon as we knew that Indira was up for it, we reconceived the part to make it something that hopefully was worthy of some of her talents.
No, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. You goddamn bastards. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it.
Wanted to make the character worthy of the actress.
If you think that that's how... that's not how it works. You know a talented actress when they can make themselves fit the mold of the character. Not the other way around. Not ever the other way around.
Well, and sometimes okay, so I think of Daryl from The Walking Dead ended up being a huge deal, and he wasn't really supposed to be, but the audience received him so well that they kept him alive, and gave him a huge part in the show. But it's like at the same time, clearly that didn't go that well with this chick, because I honestly don't even remember who she is.
And the thing is, like, she wasn't even like a fan favorite. She was a producer favorite.
Yeah.
It's one thing if it's a fan favorite. It's another thing if the producers like her. But this is like simping, wanting to get into her skirt. And it's like, if you like her that much, then when her part is finished, recast her as an extra or something so that you can still use her. That's all you have to do.
She basically was an extra. Like she's basically just a character's girlfriend. Like in the season 4, like she's a minor side character, and then they ascended her to the main bad guy of a 40-minute subplot that he just inserted partway through production.
Which makes no goddamn sense. At all.
Nothing these guys say makes sense, so...
Yeah.
But it's like, it makes sense, it's just like, it doesn't fit with, like, it feels like an alien it feels like an alien version of logic that we've never as humans experienced, because we're not that stupid.
On some planet, your writing style is considered very effective. Your weak link is, this is Earth.
And this is not that planet.
Yep. Let's keep going. More...
As you get to know, Sophie and everybody, they find their way, the person finds his or her way into the character, and they kind of, it's like they redecorate the house. After a couple seasons, in some cases, it doesn't even resemble the house.
Let's pause. And so Stephen Atwell of Race for the Throne said, it's a scene designed for the actors to emote.
Oh.
It's a scene designed for the... No. If you have so much emoting, then you cannot convey things with just emoting.
But it's to my understanding that emotes are to enhance pre-existing scenes, not have scenes be modified to utilize emotes.
That's what you'd think, right? But then again, with these people, I suppose not.
Yeah, because they just think that it's showing off the actors as good writing.
No, it's not. Of course it's not.
And they're not even showing the actors off well.
No, they aren't.
They're just like, oh, move your facial expressions.
Wiggle your eyebrows and start screaming. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Or something.
The following script will be written entirely in emoji.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep. Alright. Now for the next part. Miss in the night shoots. Well, and I'll save the bit with how they nearly killed a child for later.
Well, it's one word for Miguel's talking. And you know, I think for just one standing there.
Well, Homer fading into the.
By the time Miguel did, and also we, one thing that's usual about our show is that we always had two people from early, so we were often in a different country, like we'd be in Spain. Miguel was shooting Hell Bastards in Spain and France, and he was shooting the
Okay, we like being in Spain while Miguel was shooting Battle of the Bastards in Northern Ireland while they were, well, oh. Why can't you just use studios? Why do you have to be in those physical places? Why?
Some of them was for like roads and stuff, like actually utilizing stuff like a physical location. But yes, you could more easily use a studio.
I mean, if you really do need to use the roads, get the stuff with the roads done first, and then go to do all the other stuff in a studio.
It's like every decision that they made was like full-fledged catharsis over practicality.
Yeah. And it's like the poor guy, and it's just like and giving themselves like the easy stuff, like being in like really moderately temperature Spain or Croatia, while these guys are in Northern Ireland in the mud where it's icy cold, or doing night shoots. and doing like 55 days worth of night shoots.
And dealing with the 70 horses too.
Yes.
I love the. There had to have been at least one actor or actress that was out there in the mud with the horses that at some point was just having a really bad day and just like kicked their feet up and got mud everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Or when the porta potties froze. Yeah, that's actually we have film documented evidence of the porta potties freezing on the publicly available Last Watch documentary on Dragon Demand's channel. At least like 45 of the worst bits of it.
Yikes.
We'll have to cover that at some point, but yeah.
So like they couldn't open the door?
No, like what was inside froze.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. It is.
Yep. Yeah, like the fluid and other, like, since they were filming in the middle of winter, they insisted we should film it in the middle of winter for authenticity's sake.
No! No, that's not how you do it! How do you think the people who filmed Titanic did it? They did it in a tank of warm water and then added the breath later. That's how they did it. You don't do it in winter. You especially don't do it in winter when you have a baby. That's not wrapped properly on a block of ice. First of all, you don't use a block of ice. You use a block of plastic that looks like ice. And there are places that you can go where you can find a block of plastic that looks exactly like a block of ice should.
Well,
It wasn't even on location. It was in the studio that was designed to keep the ice from melting.
That would give anyone hypothermia.
Well, that's because it's a studio. That's what the studio's for, and so you don't have to do that.
Right, like
exactly.
What is even the point of the Actors Guild? Because, like, I know it's this big deal. Supposedly, to get work, you have to be in it, but then evidently, it's not doing anything to protect actors or crew members. Because
that's what it seems like.
What's going on in the industry right now? Are actors okay?
Yeah.
Should we?
No, they aren't. It's like, what the? What are you guys doing? Seriously.
Are you okay? Blink once for yes, twice for no.
Right.
Yeah.
Or when Rory McGann, after several takes of a very involved fight scene where he's wearing thick leathers, is like leaning against the wall, hyperventilating and sweating like a bull, and close to passing out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they don't understand their actors' limits.
Everyone has limits. You. Ugh.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
So it's something like 65 straight nights for Miguel and over 70 for the crew, which is debilitating. I mean, it's just, for anyone who's never worked on a night shoot, it's tough doing 10 straight weeks of that. It's really rough.
And you deliberately got out of them.
Sometimes, like, the crew member who had been working on the night shoot would have to come to one of our daytime sets or something.
Wait. What? We were sleeping pretty well because we were on the daytime sets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my good God.
And also, a crew member who'd been working on the night shoots would have to come to one of our daytime sets. No, like, you're the one in charge. How you fix that,
do it!
feel so bad for them, right? Is you plan so that people on the night shoots don't have to show up during the day. Like, that's on you, bro. Like,
yeah, that's what happens. If you have people who are going to be in the night shoots, then you don't plan to have them on set during the day because they need to sleep too.
Yeah. So far, I'd say pretty dumb things, pretty awful and insensitive things, like mocking your crew. Like this is kind of like poking fun at your crew, and like saying, "Oh, we were at the daytime shoots because we chose not to go into the not to do the night shoots like at all." Let's keep going. And they actually say we were doing sleeping pretty well.
And actually, I'm sorry, guys, but I am gonna have to jump out.
Okay. Okay.
We'll catch you later, Blue.
Yeah, it was
Catch
fun.
you later, Blue.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye. Alrighty. Yeah.
The babysitting.
Yeah.
Well, because we were on a daytime stuff, and
I'll be right back. Something came up.
Okay.
Start to finish, it has 3 dialogue scenes in it, and that's it. Like if you took Battle of the Bastards into Hardhome to the loot train, you put all those 3 together, that's probably the size of this episode.
They
So
built a
tired and
physical
cold,
Winterfell.
really not particularly in the mood to go
They
and
built
do
a Winterfell.
a long
They built a
11 weeks of
like
night
at least
shifts.
like the front of a
I
castle.
don't really want to spend 55
Why?
nights up.
That's not even necessary. Forget it. Whatever.
Like
What was their Winterfell before this?
I think they had like we're using a castle, but like for this they built a physical set of Winterfell.
I feel like if they were trying to film a Dragon Ball Z movie, which I still think is a really funny idea, this
Oh, yeah,
guy
it is a
doing
funny
that,
idea.
he would light someone's head on fire to make it look so they can to make the Super Saiyan scene genuine. That way, when the guy starts screaming, it's because his head's on fire.
Well, apparently, season 8, episode 5 has the most people set on fire out of anything.
What do you mean?
Stuntmen being sent on having their clothes set on fire.
I don't think that's something to aspire towards.
Well, it's like it's safe. It's relatively safe. Like these are experienced stuntmen, like having like specifically like carefully like crafted clothing. But yeah, they like, and even like then some of like the actors doing it messed up, and there's actually footage on the episode of guys not freaking out as they should. Like they're just standing there in the middle of a firestorm. So, Yokai, your thing about fire, not unjustified. They already did it, technically.
Wow.
Wow. That's the worst disappointment I've seen since my son. Let's keep going, shall we?
Well, I don't have a son yet to be disappointed, and I'm still picking which
Swinging
girl
back.
from Best Chat is gonna give me one of those. I'm
Well, it
still
can't be
selecting
Blue,
from
she's
the
taken.
harem, so to speak.
Yeah, technically Blue's already taken, so she's out. So let's keep going, shall we?
Let's do it.
Basically, because they.
Okay, I'm back.
Something bigger.
Hello, hello.
What was that like? How long did it take just to shoot that battle?
55 nights.
So what's that like? 55. Where are we shooting this?
We were shooting this in Belfast.
Okay, and was this in winter, summer?
This was midwinter.
Midwinter in Belfast at night?
At night.
That must suck.
Yeah. No,
I'm not surprised.
Midwinter in Belfast. Belfast, Ireland. Ireland. It is icy cold. The only place that you can get that's colder is like the far north, like Finland Norway, places like that. It is icy cold. It was so cold that their friggin' the juices in their porta potties and other utilities froze. And we have documented video evidence of it. Like the crewmen complaining, oh, the porta potties froze because it's the middle of winter. I have to get new ones. Or I have to figure out a solution.
Yeah.
Like go into the porta potty and go spell their name.
Guess so, yeah.
You realize that humans are not nocturnal creatures. When you put a crew through 55 night shoots, and David and Dan just kind of swan up every like once a week, and the poison in everyone's eyes. Like, you're not going through this, man. It was serious. Yeah, it was a lot.
Well, of course they would be glaring at him. Of course they would be.
Yeah, because
they get to sleep.
And also they were in the nice, warm Spain or Croatia.
Yeah.
And they're freezing their bollocks off in midwinter. There's more.
Oh dear.
There's going to be some tell-alls about this series.
This is.
Yeah.
You sort of wake up, quickly get showered, drive to location.
I want a disaster artist or disaster artist movie / TV series made about the behind the scenes of this show, and I want a Firefest style documentary about this movie, about the show. Because currently all we have are Dragon Demand's behind the scenes coverage. Like, I want to see actual interviews from cast and crew about this.
Yeah.
On a documentary.
Probably need to wait for some NDAs to run out.
Probably, yeah.
That's gonna take a few years, isn't it?
Probably. Yeah. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. We got a little bit more to cover.
Shoot all day, get back on the minibus, quickly try and get some sleep, wake up. It is like Groundhog Day. When anybody ever says, "How's it going, Sarah?" I feel like saying, "I'm broken."
We feel like vampires, don't we? I mean, seriously, it's like everybody's just grey, aren't they?
They're big, heavy makeups. They're quite hard work. The last couple of days, some of us have been doing 18-hour days. Lottie, we've moved to a different location now. We're somewhere else.
That's her
You had to do the
daughter.
homework that they gave you. Yeah, that was the same one. Oh. All right then, pop it. I'll speak to you again tomorrow. I think it's unfortunate that both her parents are here, so she hasn't got one of us at home. This was.
I'm looking forward to the class action lawsuits about Firefest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I can't wait.
Yeah, Firefest. So, for reference, both of those that little girl's parents, both of them are on set in another country.
Both of them?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Oh no.
So that's why she's Skyping her, is because they're in a different part of the country / another country.
Oh. That poor girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also,
It was never the plan, so. Just gonna see what that stop person is.
Yeah, I would be really, really angry with
when does Lottie get here?
With them if I was
worse.
the parent.
It gets worse. Just wait. It gets worse.
Mother flew her over. When does Lottie get here? be an extra. My mother flew her over so we can watch Lottie being filmed for the day. I hadn't seen her for 3 weeks. It's when there's all the snow. I've really struggled this shoot, actually. It's hard. It's hard being a mum. You know, I missed her Mother's Day. Assembly. And I missed her Easter bonnet parade.
Good.
She wasn't able to go to her Mother's Day, her school assembly, or her Easter Day parade.
That's awful.
Yeah, no.
It just shows that like these people were working extremely hard to try and make this show good. And yet David Bennioff and D.B. Weiss were so insanely lazy in terms of both their writing and production management. They said, oh, just get this done. Here are the requirements. Do it.
Yeah, no, that's not. That's not. It's not. And the actors and actresses who were parents, they deserved to get some days off.
Yep.
Especially if it's going to be, Mother's Day, Father's Day, or, a special event at the school that they want to be there for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to covering the Last Watch documentary with y'all. You are probably going to think it's like, especially like when we compare it to the Dragon Demands inside the episode for episode 6. Especially since like they admit that the ending of Game of Thrones, like the last, I think like 30-40 minutes of the final episode was written after the table read.
And the table read is?
Just before filming.
Good God.
Like the table read is like when you show the script to the actors.
Ah, yeah.
And they said like the ending was when Dany dies originally, and then we realized, oh, there's a lot of political fallout. We need to write some more.
Duh.
Yeah, and after the table read, where they gave it to their actors, they gave what should have been the finished script to their actors for the table read for rehearsal.
And they didn't. Obviously,
Yep.
they didn't.
Yep.
Oh, good God.
Let's keep going.
Tired and cold, really not particularly in the mood to go and do a long 11 weeks of night shoots. I don't really want to spend 55 nights up. It's David and Dan's fault mainly, basically, because they wanted to do something bigger.
You see sometimes like a crew member of it, and because we were on the daytime stuff and
did ridiculous for them, by the way, for having that. For them, by the way, for having that faith in you guys, that unfounded, ridiculous faith in you guys.
What?
Almost call it foolish faith. Almost foolish faith.
Faith? No, they didn't have any faith in these guys at all. They were micromanaging everything.
Well, it's HBO, HBO saying, we had this amazing, unfounded, foolish faith in you guys.
Oh, so HBO is talking to,
Well, it's Jimmy Kimmel talking about how it was David Bennioff, them saying, oh, they had an amazing faith in you guys, even though they shouldn't have. But I think also in the other context of this is that Bennioff, the cast and crew had a lot of faith in Bennioff, and he let them down.
Yeah,
really
he
hardcore.
certainly did.
Yep. Well, now we get to something that's kind of insidious.
Something related to how did you deal with the identity of Jon Snow's mother and keep it a secret for so long?
We told Kit her name, and I told him not to tell anybody. You know, it's I don't know how to say it. We should probably pick
Oh, good lord. That's not how you do things. That's not how you do it. You don't keep it a secret from the rest of the cast. The cast, for something like,
a mystery like this.
Yeah, but you don't need to keep it a secret from the other characters / authors if you're only supposed to be keeping it a secret from the audience.
Yeah.
The only scene I can think of that would be an exception to that would be that scene in Empire when Luke yells no and jumps because I'm not sure if it would have worked otherwise.
Yeah.
And Lucas wasn't sure if it would work otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else but for Mark knew that, I think.
I think it was actually like that Mark Hamill, the crew, and not the Mark Hamill, the actor who voiced Darth Vader, not the actor playing Darth Vader in the physical suit.
Yeah.
It was just because it was James Earl Jones said it in the recording booth, and then Mark Hamill knew exactly what it was, what the line was, but they were the only, and Lucas and the director knew, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
the original
of things like where. Go ahead.
Oh, the original thing that David Prowse, the guy in the suit playing Darth Vader, said was Obi-Wan killed your father. That was like what the casting. That was what the crew heard, but Mark Hamill knew. Oh, it's his dad, and that's how they kept it a secret.
Yeah.
So, cool little story, but the thing that's insidious.
Obi-Wan did kill.
Kind of, yeah. So, but the more insidious thing about this conversation with Bennioff is that he's saying, I just don't really want to answer questions I'm uncomfortable with. Or like, he just like, if I stay silent, Dan will be compelled to answer for me.
Yeah, but at the same time, staying silent looks ridiculously suspicious.
Yeah. And this isn't the only time he has done this.
First of all, thank you for your question. And second of all,
Julia Pierpont from Xinhua News of China. I would just love to ask, what is, if you could tell us a little bit.
And we have time for one more question.
Could you, over to the left again, I'm just curious how you guys respond to the over to the left in front. How you respond to the, there was a lot of controversy about the ending, and I'm wondering how you reacted to that. Especially regarding, of course, the Dragon Queen.
Like, look, watch Emilia Clarke in the middle. She ducks down. She ducks down and back up.
I'll tell you this one.
What
was it?
Your actor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Controversy.
Oh.
Good God.
They just stay back.
Holy crap, I don't know if you heard that. I started falling asleep. Whew.
Oh, you're fine. Like, look at the. Just look. He is like Amelia Clark, like when the Dragon Coup is mentioned, like she ducks down and then back up.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see someone do that. Yeah.
And that's Amelia Clark, the actress playing Daenerys. And now Kit Harington's jumping up to the mic because David and Dan are not going up there to answer that question.
He should not have been forced to do that.
And it gets worse.
Seen the show. Controversy. I still haven't seen the show.
What the?
So that's how I dealt
Good
with
Lord.
that controversy. I haven't seen the
Oh,
final
good
season,
dear.
but I know what it took to shoot it, and it was hard, and everyone put all of their love and effort into it. And controversy, I think for us, we knew what we were doing was right, story-wise, and we knew that it was right for the characters because we'd lived with them for 10 years.
You haven't seen the finished product. Amelia Clark herself was shocked, first at the table read, and then at seeing the actual episode live.
Yeah, that has very bad things.
Yeah, like first off, like when she read the table read, she walked around London in a daze. When she got the script, she walked around London in a daze for at least a couple of hours. And then she hosted a charity dinner where like a bunch of people who were able to come and watch it with her, and she was completely silent after watching the episode. At a charity dinner, even so much that they noticed it. And there were tweets about Amelia's really quiet at this dinner that she's hosting.
Are they talking about the episode where Daenerys goes nuts and kills everybody, or where she dies?
Yup. Where Daenerys goes nuts and kills everybody. Because she didn't know that it would be like that. She even said, like, I don't know why Jon Snow is acting so mad when he came in. When, like, they were acting off each other, I don't know why Jon Snow was so mad, since in the original script that she got, it was she kills a few Lannister guys that are hiding within the civilians. Then she goes to the Red Keep, but the city gets accidentally destroyed by wildfire, as opposed to she lawnmowers the city with a dragon.
Good God.
And Amelia Clark, like, I have all the sympathy in the world for that poor girl. Like, she was utterly just destroyed, and she brings it up in the commentary as if she wants an apology, and Bennioff and Weiss just like, oh, that's interesting.
Her response to that should have been, that's interesting? That's interesting?
Or like, something along those lines. It's very blasé. They were very, very blasé about it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. That poor girl. Like, she was just, like, utterly destroyed twice. Like, first it was, like, by a vague thing, and then when she actually saw it, she was, like, utterly silent at a charity dinner that she was hosting. Like, we'll have to look at that video eventually, but for now, let's focus on Austin Film Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of controversy for us didn't really affect us. Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone. Jim Roop with Westwood One News. First of all, incredible. I mean, a major motion picture every week. That's just daunting task in and of itself. But I have to ask, how much of this developed along the way? For instance, was it always going to be Arya's character to kill the Night King, or did someone just go, I know what we'll do at the end? How did that develop?
Oh, no. No.
And look, Alfie Allen, not a writer, takes it.
Was it? Oh. What was it?
Even I forgot the question. How much of the show developed along the way, and was it always going to be Arya's character to kill the Night King?
No, that was supposed to be Jon Snow.
In the beginning of the show, was that going to be the end?
I mean, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
You think so? You're not
I don't know. I'm wilting. I mean,
Well,
hold
no, I know
on.
George
That's already
wrote the
happened.
thing, but you guys, you had your creative.
Why are you not answering this question, David Bennioff?
Why? Why are you not?
Why are you letting your actors answer?
It should be you.
Yep. And then like they do answer one thing
Is that how
after.
Yeah, it honestly just depends on the specifics. Like, it was always going to be Bran as the king at the end. With some of the other choices, it came up along the way. But I think no one can beat Alfie's answer. So I think all further questions should go to Alfie.
Thank you very much.
That is a blatant lie.
Indeed.
Bran, by your own admission, was a last-minute afterthought because the show ended after, like, both at the table read and originally with Dany dying and being carried off. And you just threw together the ending by your own admission.
Wait, so they didn't even have any plans for who to put on the throne? Wasn't that the entire point? Wasn't that why the series dragged on after the Night King died? Was to put somebody on the friggin' chair.
Yep.
And they didn't put somebody on the friggin' chair until they reshot.
Kind of, yeah. I will. So just so I can say, I will show you that bit after this, and the part about the baby, just so we can kind. Well, I'll show it to you right now.
I think I should probably get some sleep before I pass out on you. I'll catch you later, all right?
All right,
See you later, Yokai.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Try to survive without me.
The writer stands. Yeah. Bye, buddy. Alrighty. Let's keep going, and then we'll see the bit about how they threw together after.
Lady right at the back there. Yes.
Oh no.
Hi. So yeah, same. Big fan of the show. Really appreciate you guys being here tonight. I had a question about, well, in general, about how women are represented in the show, because I think on the whole the show does a pretty good job. You've got a lot of female characters that aren't just stereotypical strong female characters. You've got a real range of personalities. But with that in mind, I was wondering specifically about a scene from Series 4, specifically what I call the rape scene, which is where Cersei and Jaime, where Jaime forces Cersei to have sex next to her son's grave. Now, people have interpreted this differently, but it did cause a lot of controversy when it came out. So I was sort of wondering what your thoughts were on that, why you included it, what you felt it contributed to the character arcs of specifically Jaime, and what your thoughts would be on dealing with this kind of material in the future, because this caused so much for controversy.
John?
Yeah. Yeah, it continues, and I'll have to show you that clip of how Bennioff answered that question later. But yeah, it was something else. Yeah. Okay. So the next bit is going to be yeah, they yeah. Like an answer to, they just asked like, okay, I feel like that's a legitimate question, like how women are handled in the show, how it contributed to the character arcs. I feel like, what do you think? That seems like a reasonable question to ask.
It is. It certainly is.
Yeah. And, well, actually, let me show you how he answers. And he even, like, answers a... Let me see. Where is that at? Where's that thing at? It should be in playlists. Let's see. Let's see. Should be going a little bit.
We went into with no experience in television whatsoever.
Okay.
The lady right.
Oh, Hex, I would not be surprised.
On the whole, the show does a pretty good job. You've got a lot of female characters that aren't just stereotypical strong female characters. You've got a real range of personalities. But with that in mind, I was wondering specifically about a scene from Series 4, specifically what I call the rape scene, which is where Cersei and Jaime, well, where Jaime forces Cersei to have sex next to her son's grave. Now, people have interpreted this differently, but it did cause a lot of controversy when it came out. So I was sort of wondering what your thoughts were on that, why you included it, what you felt it contributed to the character arcs, specifically Jaime, and what your thoughts would be on dealing with this kind of material in the future, because this caused so much for controversy.
John?
Just to take the last question first, I would hope that it would not affect at all our future writing on the series, the fact that it created controversy, because I would hope that we have the courage to write what we think is the show demands for that particular scene, regardless of what the reaction is going to be. As far as the scene itself, I think you're right to be disturbed by it. I think it was a brutal scene. I think it was incredibly well acted by both Lena and Nikolai, and it was a very, very difficult day. It was a difficult thing to shoot. It was difficult to be with the actors that day. I mean, Lena is someone who gets so into the role. She's part of the reason she's such a brilliant actress is because she becomes Cersei, and as soon as the director calls action, she becomes Cersei, and so that was a really rough day for her. And I thought she performed it brilliantly. And it was a brutal thing to watch, but it felt to us when we were writing it like this is something the character was going to do at that moment, and it's a horrible thing to do. And at the same time, I think part of the reason it was so hard for some people is because Jaime's had this kind of redemptive arc, and it feels like he's becoming a good guy, and
Wait,
he did a lot of heroic things. And
what? Redemptive arc? She. Oh, good lord.
Your bullshit tenses are tingling?
Yes. They're going off like crazy. Is what's going on.
Yeah, if you notice, he's cold reading, essentially. He is just bringing up a ton of things that he hopes that the girl will latch onto that are very, very different and unrelated to the question that she is asking.
That is not going to work.
Yeah, if it's online, we have it, bub.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more.
In previous seasons, and he saved Brienne and all sorts of stuff. But we also can't remember this is a guy who, in the very first episode, the thing we loved about the books from the beginning, and where you would align Jaime Lannister. And in that particular scene, given what he had been through in the past and his tortured relationship with his sister, this felt like something he would do. And it's again, not bringing judgment on it, but that's. So we're going to write it, without regard for whatever furor it might create. And to our kind of amazement, it actually, that scene led to a front page article in the New York Times, which is the paper of record in the country where we're from, and also a newspaper which has never failed in 4 seasons to pan our show. So it's kind of amazing to see that the fictional interaction between two fictional
this sounds bad.
Yeah.
Became front page news, but there you have it.
I think if I'm...
So here's the thing. They were not on set that day.
No. I would not expect them to be on set.
No, like they said, oh, it's a hard day on set, which is blatantly false. They were not, and also, the actors were not told to play it as rape. The actors
What were they told to play it as?
Normal consensual sex. It's just filmed really badly so that general audiences thought, oh my gosh, this looks like rape.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, let me find where they were. Ooh, should be here somewhere.
What the fuck?
What?
Hold on. They're having hardcore sex at the gravesite?
Well, in the middle of a tomb, technically.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So they're claiming that they were at the scene when they were the Jaime Cersei quote unquote rape scene.
Oh man. I'm sitting here like all fucked up, half asleep, and I just hear that. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not.
Yeah.
What is this?
Wish I knew.
Okay, yeah, so after their son dies...
I feel like a jackass just for being alive right now. Oh my god.
No, I get it. It's...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, so, there's a lot of stuff here. Let me find the spot where it says where these two men were when that scene was filmed, because they said, like, it was a hard day on set and it was tough for Lena. So the actors, like, didn't have any problems with it because they were not told to play it as rape.
So what? She's supposed to be having a good time at the on the fucking tombstone?
Well, it shows in the thing, if you look carefully, that she's pulling his head in for a kiss, and when like
she's getting ready to ride this guy's dick in front of her son's dead body.
Well, technically, he's
is that what you're
plowing
saying
her.
to me?
technically he's plowing her, but she's wrapping her legs around him.
What?
We just
What is this?
It's a weird show, dude. But it's unfortunately in the
A
books.
weird show. Understatement of the fucking millennium. Wrapping her legs around a guy in front of her.
In front of specifically, he's her brother, her full twin brother.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of
Uh-huh. Sorry. Yokai seems to have, his brain seems to have imploded.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, Bennioff was unaware that Alex Graves had been asked the same question and specifically denied that it was rape. And then just said that any intention to use sexual assault to portray Jamie as a morally gray character. It was just directly contradicted Alex Graves' statement. Like, they were on that day at set, they were, oh, okay, where is that bit? Since that's really funny.
Character, well, that once again, we've seen her rape Jane story where Jamie is forcing himself on Cersei. I hate when they go out screeners anymore. Episode, I believe, as far as sending it out to individual, and not one of them had, to my recollection. And then some of the people who had come back and seemed to be somewhat.
Is Yokai? Are you okay?
We've lost Yokai and we've lost Drake, apparently.
Okay, I'm back. Random blue screen of death. This has not been our day for technology.
No. Okay. Now, let's see.
Oh, Drake is
On another. Oh, there you are. Let's see. Okay. Drake, when things start going blue screen of death, that says very bad things.
yeah. Sorry. My thing. Why? I don't know why my stupid internet is dying on me. That is so annoying. I do not understand it in the slightest. Let's see, where is that bit of where these guys were?
Yikes.
I need to find it. Oh, come on, I can't find it. That's annoying. Apparently there was an interview with Pedro Pascal where he said, like, they were. The most surreal, weird. Oh, I found it! Yay! So Graves said that Bennioff weren't present on set during the filming of that scene, even though they said they were. If Bennioff were too busy to be present while filming it, or bother to review footage, what were they too busy doing? Let's find out, shall we?
Yes, let's.
So, if Bennioff and Weiss bother, even after is he doing? Oh, we're always possible. This, working every minute. We don't have time to review anything. Check this out online if possible. The Season 4 Blu-ray featurette, The Fallen Roundtable. It's making the rounds. Pedro Pascal played Oberyn, was asked, "What's your most memorable moment on set?" And he says, "Filming episode 4. When is in the sept scene at the beginning, so it was fairly close to the production schedule, same actor. Filming episode 4.3, when Tywin interrupts Oberyn at the brothel, and between takes, the prostitute extras would hang around fully naked in the green room. And that makes sense. They said, we don't want to do a strip tease for the cameraman every take. We just stay naked between shots. That makes sense. So there's all these prostitutes hanging around fully naked in the green room. And it was this surreal scene waiting around for an hour while David Bennioff was playing Words with Friends on his iPhone with this naked woman.
What?
Time spent playing iPhone.
Words with Friends with benefits.
Yep.
Is time that could have been spent reviewing sex scene footage to make sure it doesn't look like rape. It's like they. Oh my goodness. Good God.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he said it was a rough day on set. It was a hard day on set, but the actors work really hard and all that. A blatant lie. It's just, if you can't lie, if you have to lie, at least lie convincingly.
Yeah, use the truth to lie. It's possible.
And
you can actually do it.
And thing is, the Oxford Union thing happened way after, like, Alex Graves and Lena Headey made all of their comments about it. This is like months after, and this guy wasn't even aware of it. It's ridiculous. And now we get to see, like, them admitting, oh, we cobbled together this last minute.
Yeah.
Let's see, where's...
Very attractive idea to her at this moment. In her mind, it's a very ethical idea because she's not seeing the cost the way John.
Let's see.
Owen would not survive. That the thing that everybody wanted, the thing.
We'll watch this full thing another time, but I want to specifically cover the bit.
Okay.
Yeah, where they...
So we went was how much residual drama. What we didn't really realize was how much residual drama there was left. Once we realized that both Jon and Tyrion were inevitably going to be prisoners, we knew that their fate was far from settled. So we went through a number of different versions of how to best take advantage of that tension, and we finally landed on the version we had in the Dragon Pit.
I suppose you want the crown.
Me? Can't think of a worse choice. Who then?
Around season 3, we went to visit George R. R. Martin, and he writes. And
season 3, book 5 was, so he is saying falsifiably wrong things.
When we went to visit him back then, and this was when he
Yeah.
was still writing book 5.
That's what it sounds
He
like.
didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, so look at what he's saying on this, and this is edited footage. He could have been corrected because, okay, book 5, so season 1 was 2 years before this. 2 years. He is off, way off, by at least 2 years. That's insane.
Yeah, where the story was going, and he knew a few key things, and one of those key things was that the final king at the end of the story would be Bran.
Oh.
You said that you cobbled this together, like because you realized there wasn't enough residual drama.
Oh,
it's actually
Lord.
true that they Martin. I have this sneaking suspicion Martin was screwing with them.
Maybe, but here is the table read. Specifically focus on, what I want you guys to focus is on the end. The end of what he is seeing. So, the end is... So, listen to what they're reading.
A queen's nature is fire and blood.
Stan closed, his hand behind her head, her hand on his cheek. Kisses the man she loves, a perfect kiss. Their eyes closed, his hand behind her head, her hand on his cheek. Danny's eyes open suddenly as she draws a sharp breath. John's eyes open as well, already filling with tears. For a moment, neither moves, as if moving will make this real. We see John with his hand still on the hilt of the dagger he just lodged in Danny's heart. Her strength leaves her and she collapses to the marble. He keeps her in his arms and she falls, kneeling down to the floor beside her. He looks down at what he's done, terrible and necessary. End of Game of Thrones.
End of Game of Thrones.
And yet they couldn't just do that. You know, you can leave the drama for another TV series, right?
Yeah. So, and also, like, the thing is...
Because that would have been... It sounds like that would have been the perfect ending, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of a hot button topic, but yeah, here's what they admit to about the baby.
Oh, no.
So this is after a question about...
Excited. I mean, yeah, but you know, I still had, I mean, every time the Night King showed up, I was excited. I mean, that was like, he's a great character.
The first scene that the Night King appears in was directed by the great Michelle McLaren, and it was the most frightened I've ever been on a set, because, not because of the Night King, but because we had a baby, a real baby, not a policeman baby, but a real baby. There was like an altar made of ice, and I think it was real ice. No, it was real. It was real ice because fake ice just doesn't, like in close-ups, just never looks real. So
Oh, you're so wrong! You're wrong about that! You're wrong about that! You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong! There are ways to make a block of plastic look like a block of ice. There are even techniques now that can make the plastic look exactly the way you want it to. You do not need to use ice. You do not need to use actual ice. I'm surprised the mom is not suing them for everything they have. I'm surprised that she didn't do that as soon as she realized what they were doing. Because they could have killed this child.
it gets let's keep going. It actually goes into like details about how hypothermia works.
And I'm sitting there like kind of watching what you watched the end, like this video village, and this baby is lying there like, what the? This monster with horns.
That baby is wrapped.
Puts his clawed finger on this poor baby's face, and the baby starts screaming. Like, what am I? We're fucking traumatizing this already.
How thick is that? Is that thick enough? Is that thick enough?
The baby is clearly distressed. Yes.
No, that what they have the baby wrapped in is clearly not thick enough to keep the baby. That baby already has hypothermia. It's already got hypothermia. What are you? That baby is way too cold. Look at how. Oh my God! Look at the. Pause it. Pause it right.
Babies develop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and down the side of the baby's face, it was turning a different color. You do not put babies on ice.
Mm-hmm. Now you see why this is one of the many reasons why I do not like these two men. I would even venture to say that I hate these two guys.
I bet if the mom of that baby had known that that was real ice, did she know?
I think she might have, because she was on set, and there's also a story where apparently like there was like a plot point moment where like they were yelling, "We got to show the baby's wiener."
Oh no!
You think I'm not joking? Unfortunately, there's audio of that. I think in this one.
The baby is a bigger wiener than the director.
Yokai, I thought you were going to go take a nap. He's in the chat.
What is this? 811. What are you referring to?
Oh.
Look at the screen. What is this? I am too dead.
Too dead inside to
what are you referring to? The ice or what? I honestly
I think that's what he was referring to, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is, Occupation Army, we're not in Sparta. Sparta, as the city-state, has been gone for like thousands of years by now.
Yeah. There's more. There's more.
Hypothermia much faster than adults. Undeveloped temperature regulation and their body mass to weight ratio leaves them especially susceptible. They lose body heat even faster when placed on cold surfaces. Hypothermia deprives the brain of oxygen, can stop the heart, and is a leading cause of sudden infant death syndrome. Hypothermia can have lasting consequences for babies. Only a few moments deprived of oxygen can impact vital brain development. This baby was not swaddled properly.
Nope.
His head, chest, and arms were fully exposed. He was in a studio kept cold enough to maintain carved ice throughout filming. We don't know for how long. This baby was placed directly onto a block of real ice with only a thin blanket to protect it. This baby was abused.
Yep.
Now we get to another incident
This was not an isolated incident. When the story of their Austin Film Festival panel was first reported, there was some confusion about how this ice incident related to a bizarre obsession with showing a baby's penis on screen. As you will soon hear in their own words, that story is a separate incident, taking place 1 year before the ice block scene, during filming for Season 3, Episode 3, taking place in 2012. Let's hear that story now, in their own words. Returning to audio from the Austin Film Festival, recorded October 26, 2019.
At the time when we were shooting Gilly giving birth, and it was very important for the story that if the boy children got given, the girls stayed at Pastor's Keep, if you remember, and the boy children got kind of donated to the White Walkers to be treated thusly. And so it was important that you saw that this was a boy child, and I remember sitting there talking to the director. Oh, we were the directors of that, actually. Talking to the director. Saying, no, we need to see the baby's penis. We need to see the baby's penis. And I was saying the word baby's penis. And I looked to my right, and the baby's mom was saying, as she would be, the baby on set. And we needed to reshoot that scene, or do some pickups for that scene, and the baby's mother opted out because she didn't feel comfortable having the director making loud, overt reference to her baby's penis in front of like 25 people.
Game of
No, Roman, you said it.
Yeah. It's like, oh my good lord. It's not the first media in history to show a naked baby. I would not expect that to be true.
Yeah.
I would not.
But it's just, it's so unprofessional.
Yeah. They're like the most unprofessional they could possibly be.
Okay. So now that we've kind of gone through, let's quickly read through the live tweet thread. Shouldn't take very long, I don't think.
Hopefully.
And then we can kind of say, okay, and kind of like say, did this lady take them out of context for sure? Okay. Might take a little bit. Alrighty. So let's go to this thread and slowly read it out as we go. So, 3 p.m., Dave Bennioff, DB Weiss, D&D started a session at the Austin Film Festival, a little bit late, but we'll live tweet as they get there. So someone asked, did they go online? And they said yes. We were geographically challenged, and the maps were helpful. David also saying he went to fan casting pages, and that's how they found Jason Momoa to play Khal Drogo in the first season. They saying that writers and source material end up in divorce, and their divorce was amicable since they ran out of source material. This is blatantly false.
What? Yeah, they did not run out of source material. They had, let's see, they smashed book 4 and 5 together, right? Should not have done that. They should not have.
Yep.
They could have made 2 seasons each just using one of those books.
Yeah.
By how thick they are.
Yep. They decided not to. They decided to chop them up and not even like well adapt them, which is insane. And then they're so they were describing how nervous they were pitch was. Pitch Carolyn Strauss shows a reputation of being a tough pitch. They were nervous because of how bad they wanted it. Describing the pre-meeting with George R. R. Martin, who was quenching their bona fides, and we didn't really have any. This is true. We had never done TV, and we didn't have any credentials. Credentials or bona fides. We don't know why he trusted us with his life. There's life's worse. This is true. They have said this in many interviews. They were talking about the pilot and their friends who they let watch their first attempt at a pilot. One of them was Craig Mazin, and he acknowledged the first pilot had very many basic writing mistakes. This is documented history. They acknowledged they had no idea after such a dismal pilot where they went forward. Everything we could make a mistake in, they did. Script, casting, costuming. That makes sense. Went forward because of foreign pre-sales on the series. Yup, this is accurate. Dan was saying that Game of Thrones was basically an expensive film school, and they had no idea about how to work with costuming designers, and it was a huge learning experience. 2 months before the pilot was to air, the episodes were averaging 39 minutes, and HBO made them write, then film 100 minutes of scenes to meet their contractual obligations. For example,
and these are supposed to be an hour long, right?
Yep. They didn't know about the basic length of filming.
It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, the moderator is asking them about their knowledge, acknowledging they didn't understand the characters, and the extra minutes helped them to understand the characters better. This is accurate. Dan is saying he let the actors redefine their roles, especially Maisie, and they began writing the actors. It's like the actor moved into the house and redecorated. Learned about the characters from the actors. This is accurate. The moderator asked why they chose to write all the episodes themselves. Because we didn't know better. HBO wanted them to hire other writers and decided to have Brian Ogman, their assistant, write 4 episodes. So this isn't like that bad, but Dan was asked to wanted to remove as many fantasy elements as possible because we didn't want to appeal to that type of fan. They wanted to expand the fan base beyond on the fantasy one to mothers and NFL players.
What? No, that's not what you do. That's not what you do, you idiots.
That's kind of insulting to football players. I can't believe I'm saying that, but
yeah, kind of. When asked about the violence, they said, TBH, we went too far with some of those. The jousting scene with the mountain and how it killed Sir Hugh, that the scene was too long. He said, what did you learn from the violence? You made 30 feature films in 8 years, which is more than anyone out there other than Woody Allen, regarding the Battle of the Bastards. They said they used every season as a learning experience. The CGI on the dragons was particularly challenging. Season 4 was Miguel was doing night shoots. They decided no one would miss them if they backed away. The Winterfell battle took 10 straight weeks. Why did the battles get better? We kept our core crew together. They had same stunt teams, same people who did the blood scenes in season 2 as season 7. Bear as they did. Yeah, that's fine. 2 of us and Miguel spent a lot of time together. They talked about shots, so it didn't feel like a video game. Season 1, we wanted to have a battle, but we ran out of money. The extra 100 minutes. Thus, the drinking game. When we pitched HBO, we promised them we would play the fantasy elements. Amidst this, it's a paraphrase. She is challenging the fact of how the Night King and the White Walkers and how it played out. They were expressing regret about putting the baby on a block of ice and him screaming. The baby was not happy because Dan kept talking about close-up of the baby's genitals.
No, that's not why the baby wasn't happy. The baby wasn't happy because it was developing hypothermia. You have no idea how biology works, you idiots. Stop it.
Yeah. Were you listening to feedbacks to your fans about how things went along? We really did not. Dan does not see the value in considering other people's reactions. Dave acknowledged that he Googled the show and it upset at him. With good reason. You're being called dumb and dumber by the general population of the internet.
Yeah. You have good reason to not be happy, but the fans have even more reason to be unhappy with you.
Yep.
I almost want to bring up Sonic, partially because A, Sonic did listen to the fans, and B, the memes.
Yeah. Like that hideous Sonic face. That Sonic design was hideous.
Yeah. It was like... What?
It was gross. It was legitimately disgusting.
In the end, I still wasn't very happy with the design that they picked, but it still looked more like... But the end design still looked more like Sonic than the first thing did, which is why I let it go.
Yeah. So, did you sit down and try to boil the elements of the book? Did you try to understand its major elements? No, we didn't. The scope was too big. It was all about the scenes we were trying to depict, and it was all about power.
No!
I can verify
God. These people just make me want to curse so much.
This does work along with what he said about, we just had Brian, because if there was anything we didn't really realize about the books, we would totally bring him on.
No! No! You have the writer! The actual author of the books on! You have the author! If there is a choice between the author and a fan, if the author is alive, you go to the author. You do not go to a fan because the fan does not know what was running through the dang author's head. The author knows what he was thinking when he was writing.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that all of this is accurate to what we heard?
Yeah, this is completely accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's keep reading. What was your process? We just started writing. But as things went on, we had to outline. Divvied up the scripts. They didn't work together in the same room. One took the first half, the other the last half. Then they would swap. They gave episodes to Brian Cogman and Dave Hill. They're talking about how they loved the books. They had to make it their own. They stressed several times about giving up 10 years of their lives. They referenced David Beard Chase and The Sopranos and how he said it was such a blur. Dan, it was like a 10-year drunk party. That's actually accurate.
But that's not what you want the production to be. You don't want it to be a drunken party. You want it to be a party because you want people to be having fun. But you don't want it to be a drunken party.
There's actually a story of there's a hand slap game that he played with Jason Momoa. Giant Polynesian man. And David Bennioff was so drunk that he did not realize that his hands were broken.
Oh. Yeah, Nick Brown's got a good point. Unless the author has lost his or her mind, you always go to the author. You do not go to a fan unless the fans are all you have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they admitted that they just, like, did a lot of booze. They have admitted multiple times that they are openly drunk. They were openly drunk at multiple conventions. This is accurate to who these men
I'm
are.
surprised that they weren't arrested for public drunkenness.
Yeah, or like they...
I wonder what their Twitter looked like during that time frame.
They didn't have one. They went on a complete media blackout for years.
Yeah, probably because they were told to do so if they were going to do this.
Exactly, Ken. I don't understand why they have a job when they're this unprofessional.
I don't understand either. They should be blacklisted after this, but I doubt that'll happen.
They kind of have been blacklisted, which is kind of the thing. Like,
oh, thank
Star
goodness.
Wars, like they've been relegated to Netflix, essentially.
I wish Ryan Johnson had been blacklisted the same way.
Well,
good Lord.
Well, the thing is, Ryan Johnson has never said things this stupid.
Yeah, that's because he has enough of a brain to know that.
Yeah.
These two don't.
Nope. It's talking about... Okay, let's kind of see. About the brutality. They knew where the characters were and how they wanted it to end. Let's see. Let's see, how much more is there? I think that might be it, but like those are the VFX look too cartoonish. How do you decide to do the reveals? Talk about kill Joffrey in episode 2 because nothing ever happens. Sansa and Arya, they mapped it out so you didn't know what was going. Sansa and Arya killing Littlefinger, they mapped it out so you didn't know what was going to happen. Casting also dictated how and when they killed people. Question about scanning locations. Okay. So that actually is accurate because Barristan, the actor playing a guy named Barristan Selmy was like, he read the books and he was excited for his character to be able to be given some meat in this upcoming season because he'd read the books. And then they killed him arbitrarily.
Why? If he's got a huge part in the next book, why do you kill him?
And also, he begged them not to kill him.
That well.
Yeah.
Also, he begged them not to kill him, and they killed him. And when Sophie Turner did the same thing, they didn't kill her off because they liked Sophie Turner.
That's fucking sexist. You think I'm kidding?
Oh no, I'm just... Yeah, that is very, very sexist.
She didn't have a part. He did. It makes no...
Yeah.
God damn it.
They asked about not including women or people of color in the writer's room. They didn't have a writer's room, and there was one woman who wrote a few scenes. They decided up front it was going to be the two of them.
Scenes?
They decided to throw...
Scenes? In the other...
Few episodes.
In the
Few episodes.
video,
Yeah.
they said episodes, not scenes. Or was that a lie? Because I'm starting to think that was a lie.
Well, like, I think that, like, there were probably multiple writers. Maybe she just said scenes. But, like, they said scenes, but they said wrote a few episodes. Maybe it was misheard. But essentially, like, that's how it is. Like, they heard about it, and so she ended up leaving the show. They missed the part where she refused to be on night shoots.
She was refusing to be on night shoots. Why was she refusing?
Well, like she said, like after a couple seasons in, like, nah, I think I'm going to stop being here at the night shoots because I don't need to be because you guys are extremely unprofessional.
Yeah.
Decided to pitch the pilot. Okay. There's no good way to. Okay.
I don't get how they were even able to get to the end of Game of Thrones. How are they not sacked?
Because it was so explosive. Like, people went nuts for this show. It was everywhere.
Oh, I know that. But at the same time, if people were complaining about how unprofessional they were, then they should have been dropped and new showrunners should have been hired.
Mm-hmm.
And yet that didn't happen. So how the hell did they survive?
Probably because like David Plepler saw, oh, you're getting results. The Emmys are piling in, even though your scripts are not terribly good. They aren't even really scripts.
No, they're not. The scripts, quote unquote, were more novels than anything else because Bennioff is a novelist, not a scriptwriter.
And those are two different disciplines, very different.
Yeah,
disciplines.
two different disciplines, two different styles of writing. And he refused to read a script writing manual because, the manuals make me feel stupid. They really called me a Karen? What the hell?
Don't worry, I don't think you're a Karen, Neph.
That's why I'm laughing. Don't worry about it. Oh.
But yeah, that was the Austin Film Fest. I think that's one of the most exhaustive coverages of it that I've seen online, and I hope that we gave sufficient proof to say no, this was not taken out of context. This was perfect. This was accurate. And kind of to the people who say that the live tweeter was inaccurate, I say, no, you are delusional. That is the only way I can describe this. Would you agree with me on this?
Yes. Oh, Nick Brown. The show is so popular that replacing them would have looked odd, and at the time it was frowned upon to do so. It's what happened to Walking Dead. It went through too many showrunners and quality declined. Yeah, well, the quality declined anyway. So
doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you need to get rid of them because, as it's been shown,
wasting money.
They're wasting money. 2, they're wasting time. 3, they have no management skills at all. So, and as they said, they've never done this before. They had no idea what the hell they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, the quality of the show at that point could only have gotten better if Bennioff and Weiss had been replaced.
Yeah, like you wouldn't have had to worry about filming in a medieval palace. Alice.
I mean, I get needing to go to the location so that you can recreate it in the studio, but only filming in the location is really, really dumb.
Especially when it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Yeah, and you need to go through walls and things to have
set up the shots properly.
Yeah. So it's just
these people are insane. Like, it's really frustrating, like how crazy these two men are. And the worst part is still the baby. That will always be the worst.
Who knows what?
And
the mom knows what kind of damage was done to the baby because she now has to live with the baby that has who knows what kind of disability because of it.
Also, there's kind of like, this is what they are admitting to.
And if this is what they're admitting to, what are they not admitting to?
Yeah.
That's even scarier.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
we're gonna find out.
Well,
I bet we are.
Yeah, Drake. So you've been very silent. What have been your thoughts so far of what we've seen?
I'm still trying to get my head around a few different things, like the NFL thing. It's like, you got me to defend football players. Don't make me defend football players. If you make me defend football players, because you fucked up. The other one is like toning down the fantasy elements. You know why I never took this show seriously? I actually thought it was historical fiction. I didn't know it was a fantasy. I actually didn't. If I had known, I might have actually watched the thing.
Yeah. And, if it's a fantasy, there's no reason to tone down the fantasy. There's no reason to do that at all. Because,
my problem is toning up the fantasy.
Yeah. And, football players, they like fantasy too. It's just that the public, including myself, who is a huge fan of the show and books, were unaware of how stupid these two men are. I should say unaware at the time. Now my eyes were wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Hexharper had a good point. It did take inspiration from the War of the Roses, but it changed a lot of things to make it...
For instance, there are dragons. Dragons. Yeah. If you have dragons, you go whole hog. You don't.
Yeah. That was at the end
you leave with them.
Yeah. Everyone loves dragons.
They had them at the end of season 1. They had dragons at the end of season 1. Spoiler alert for a show that's like 11 years old. But there are still more. We're still not done covering this man. There's more to come.
Yay.
Yes.
How much more is there to come?
Oh, do you know how many videos Dragon Demands has on his channel?
How many?
Oh, no.
There's at least, probably 60 or something.
Well, we're giving him clicks, so...
You're welcome, Dragon.
Yeah, he'll be getting more subscribers, too. Probably.
Not many, but hopefully get some cover, get some more attention.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to do this, because, this stuff is insane. It is amazing that, why people think they've been taken out of context. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Nick Brown says you should do a stream over the videos of George R.R. Martin discussing the books and its connection to history and the War of Roses. That might be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Palate cleansing stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, there's actually a video by Kyle Kalgren about that discusses a lot of the historical influences, so we can kind of compare the two. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
How long is How long are those videos? Do you know?
They're probably like 4 or 5 minutes each.
Yeah, then we could do a stream like that. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially since we wouldn't be stopping every other second to go, no, you are dumb!
Yeah. Yeah. And like and the Kyle Kalgren run is really nice, and it's like 9 minutes long. It's really good. I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, I think that concludes our exhaustive 3.5-hour coverage of the Austin Film Fest debacle.
Under 4 hours. Suck it, Yokai.
Yeah.
Wolvie, don't lie. You know you watched that show. You tried to get me into it, remember? I'm not kidding. She's the one that tried to get me into it, and I went, nope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wheel of Time is better.
Ugh.
Huh? Hi. How's life? Hello. How's life? No idea who you are, but thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have
Winds
to say,
of Winter. Winds of Winter is supposed to be the last book in the series, right?
second to last.
Ah, well.
That it's not even finished yet. There's like
Yeah.
little bits and pieces.
But I don't blame George R.R. Martin for not being able to write anymore.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing what Bennioff did, I'm not surprised. He should not have agreed. He should not have agreed until he was on like the last of the books, and halfway finished with it at that. Because that way, at least we would have been, we'd have been guaranteed that it would finish. We'd get the entire series, and then he'd get to watch the show go downhill and go, thank God I managed to finish the series before they did this. That's what he should have done. Yeah. Into the books, but after 10 years waiting for one of 2 books is too much. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's still not finished. He said, "You have my written permission to put me in jail to finish the last 2 books." As book. And like he has released sample chapters, sometimes in conjunction with the show to throw shade.
Well, I wouldn't mind if he was putting mostly confinement, to keep him away from the people who would, from the really bad crowd.
The
Put him
hardcore
in, yeah,
insane stands.
yeah. So put him in a comfortable room, cut off everything, and then go, okay, once you finish these 2 books, we will let you out, and we will pay you for your stay. Or something like that. Yeah. Pay him to do it. And I know that finding inspiration is going to be hard because the show is a complete mess. But sometimes you just have to push through the depressing thought that this was supposed to be great, and they completely killed it. And because of this, who knows how many people are even going to pick up the first book anymore?
Yeah.
Did Mark
Well, I know
not
that,
have
like,
an idea how this ends?
I know that it's supposedly like he gave them the rough outline, but they also say we knew what the ending was, like the broad strokes were around season 3 or 4. And there's like there's a whole lot of we decided not George R. R. Martin decided.
Yeah.
And agreed, Wolvie.
Yep.
They ruined his baby.
Just like, perhaps this saying works better. George R. R. Martin sold his baby to white slavers.
Yeah, he kind of did.
I understood that reference.
Of course you did.
Yeah. So the books are still getting a lot of attention. Yes. The show less so. And like book fandom is still going really strong. Like people like Gray Area, History of Westeros. What are the Order of the Green Hand, Preston Jacobs, Red Team Review. They're still getting a lot of like traction because of the books. But it seems that like the show that used to seem like it was too big to fail just kind of torpedoed on itself.
Yeah, Bennioff, Ryan Johnson did.
I think it's even worse than Ryan Johnson, honestly, because
So
Star
what,
Wars.
Bennioff did?
Yeah, it's like it was all new word specifically for it because Bennioff, like, Game of Thrones was more popular than Star Wars at that point. Like, it reached an insane level of hype. And it was like people who usually didn't like fantasy loved Game of Thrones, and it was just a global phenomenon.
Yeah, but they loved Game of Thrones because, as they said, they downplayed the fantasy elements.
Yep.
And it's like, it's okay if you're going to downplay it a little bit because you kind of have to, do that, especially if you're just going to be working with props and things. But
it's really, really sad.
Yeah, we could have had Game of Thrones could have been another Star Wars.
Yeah, and they could have had
could have been where all the Star Wars fans fled to, but now it's like fandoms are going from ship to ship to ship, and every single one of them is capsizing.
Yeah, that seems to be what's happening.
Like Game of Thrones, like Star Wars at least like has fans left over, like that love The Last Jedi. There's some fans that love The Rise of Skywalker, but Rise of Skywalker is liking Rise of Skywalker seems like it's a minority opinion, to be perfectly honest. Like people like Patrick Willems and Just Right freaking hated it.
Well, it's like I went into Force Awakens going, okay, what are they going to do? The trailers looked kind of interesting, but I noticed right away that everyone seemed to be panting in them. So it was like, what the heck are they doing already? Came out, went, that was not a Star Wars movie.
Ooh.
The Last Kingdom's still afloat. Final book comes out later this year. Yay! I might have to pick up the books.
They're very good. Like, I highly recommend Bernard Cornwell as a writer. Like, I haven't read the Last Kingdom books, admittedly, but I read Agincourt, and I was just like, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is a very, very talented historical fiction writer. Like, yeah. But I think we will probably call it a night. I have to thank my guests, Neph Champion and Drake the Duelist, for setting this whole thing out, and thank you to Yokai Zero for suffering through most of it, as well, and Blue for suffering through some of it, and hopefully Yokai's brain recovers.
Yeah, I think you need some sleep. Get some warm milk or something, or maybe some ice cream, and then take the nap.
Oh, do you mean like some green milk?
No, not green milk. No, not green milk. Blue milk. Oh, I've always been on the side of medieval, but I'm more of a hardcore Warcraft fan. Yeah. So there are people who prefer it's the Warlord trilogy based on the King Arthur stories. Ooh. In that case, I might have to read those simply for the Fae. However,
It might not. I don't think it's the Fae, since he's mostly historical fiction.
yeah, I know, but King Arthur let's see, I believe the Lady of the Lake was one of the Fae.
Yes, I believe she was.
And then there was Morgana Le Fay, and so historical fiction is usually going to have the Fae in some context.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if I can get my hands on stuff like that, that'll help me.
I know that I'm writing a King Arthur book. Like, it's fallen by the wayside since I didn't really do much work into it. But my thought is, like, it's basically like kind of taking a look at like monomythology, where the King Arthur myth is just basically the story of another pantheon of gods.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. With what? King Arthur would be the king of the gods then?
Yes, essentially, yes. Where he's he's Zeus and Thor, essentially, where he actually has Thor and Zeus's weapon.
Oh, nice. So, Thor's hammer and Zeus's lightning?
Yeah, it's a sword. I changed it so it's a sword, but it's still basically summons lightning. And Merlin's a crotchety old man who's been advisor to multiple kings, including Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Aetius, and...
Well, he is supposed to be a Cambion, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made it so that he's this crotchety drunk old man who's in the middle of Britain, and he just reads it. I don't know if I've read that section on stream, but I might have to.
I'm looking forward to it.
I will definitely do that sometime. But like, I changed it so that Morgana Le Fay was actually the inspiration for the Tantalus myth.
The Tantalus myth?
Tantalus?
Yeah.
I
The
don't
spider?
think I'm familiar.
I think that's the spider.
It's so the myth is basically this man tried to outwit Zeus, and then he was put in, I think, either by killing his son and trying to feed it to the gods, who immediately noticed.
Oh, that one.
And then he had to like forever be in a pool of water with food that just like will shift around as he reaches for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what her myth was, and Arthur actually gets her out of it.
Nice.
So, yeah, so that's the plan. I haven't done much thought into it, other than like it's kind of alternative history where the Huns basically won the Battle of Chalons and have basically parked in France.
Yikes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of riding around with cooking meat by sitting on it and riding on it all day long.
Yuck.
I kid you not, that's what Mongols did, what the Huns did.
No, I completely understand that's what they did. That's still ew.
It's
still ew.
Yeah, They like I think like one historian like said like they do not make use of fire or any other implements, but
All
instead
they
they
do is
cook
sit
their
on
meat.
it.
They put it between the meat, between their saddles and their thighs.
Yeah, no, that's not how you kill things. That's not how you. That's not how you kill the stuff in the meat that might be dangerous.
Yeah, and that's not how you cook meat. Oh, something I've heard. There is a Mulan remake with a female villain instead. That's
Why? That's not how.
They've
They
released
didn't already
trailers
do it
already.
yet?
They've released trailers already, and that seems to be where they're going with it. Alrighty. Well, we've been here for a while.
Yeah.
But thank you all for staying for this long. I've appreciated your time, and I'm in company. Thank you to everybody. I will have to bookmark the moment where Yokai went nuts and said, "Get the F out of here."
Yeah.
You just sounded broken, man. Alrighty. Well, see you all later. Adios.
Bye, guys.